payroll and their tongue-wagging dork on the mound in the first inning there for their $160 million pitcher. Nice job. You got 11 outs in the game. 11 outs. $16 million essentially per out. Nice job. Well done. It's what they signed you for, man. Games like that. It's what they signed you for. He was locked in the first inning. And you know what? If he was a closer, he would have been amazing. If he was a closer, we'd be talking about that performance from Carlos Rodon. The problem is, I think he forgot you play 9 innings. As Bobby Witt said last night, yeah, he's pumped up. But we play 9 innings around here. All right? The boys are playing some ball. It's not the boys are playing some first inning ball. The boys are playing some ball.
Yeah.
Carlos Rodon was Rodon before he got out of the fourth. You dumbass. Two-pump chump Carlos Rodon. I'm just going to go up there and show everybody in the first inning how tough I am. What an idiot. What a scrub. And you know what? It's tied 1 apiece, and the Royals have the pitching matchup, the advantage, in minimum 2 of the other 3 games. Minimum 2 of the 3 games remaining. They definitely have the pitching matchup in their favor tonight. They've got the advantage in Game 5 as well. Because I don't expect Cole Ragans to look like he did last night in Game 5. He hasn't looked like that in a while. He didn't have his usual command. He was brilliant against the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
And he was pinpointing and spotting and locating everything, and he was on fire, and he had to be in that particular game. Last night, he did enough. Didn't get as many strikeouts as I thought. You know, we were talking about the total for Cole Ragans was over under 5.5 strikeouts. 7 of 8 leg multi Royals and Chiefs parlay last night. Hit 7 of 8 legs. The only one I didn't hit was Ragans over 5.5. That one hurt.
Oh.
That one hurt when he came out. But I didn't know I was going to hit the other one. So at the time, I'm like, oh, I didn't win.
Oh, well.
No big deal. It was like a plus 3,500 to 1. You know, you take a
Well,
shot, throw a couple bucks on there.
I thought it was crazy you had Juju Smith-Schuster plus 125 yards receiving. That was crazy.
Yeah, I had Kareem Hunt 100 yards rushing. I had Patrick Mahomes 300 yards passing, no touchdowns, and over a half interception.
Yeah, of course you did, yeah.
I had Mahomes over 25 yards rushing. I had Garrett Hampson and Tommy Pham with an RBI. I didn't have that stuff. Come on. I did not have any of that stuff.
Playoff stud,
Dude,
Garrett Hampson.
I mean, how phenomenal was the 4th inning? Because after Salvi's home run, that, 420-foot shot, which I don't know that I've seen video from center field of that home run. I keep seeing the replays of the umpire cam, which, by the way, I'm sitting there watching the game. Got the Chiefs game on, got the Royals game on, little man sitting next to me, and they've got the view from the umpire cam. And when Salvi swung, I was like, get out! That's gone. I can see it from the umpire cam. He got every single piece of that baseball. And God bless Salvi. Not only for being the amazing person that he is and the captain, the great baseball player, but the tongue wag heading to third base. Like, go right to you-know-what, Carlos, as you're heading off the mound. Dummy. Talking all that crap in the first inning and couldn't even get through 4 innings, man. $160 million man. And you couldn't get through 4 innings against Yuli Gurriel, Tommy Pham, Garrett Hampson, and Michael Garcia. I mean, tough dude on the mound. Real tough pitcher. Because let me tell you what, when the murderer's row of Yuli on a minor league contract with the Braves, Tommy Pham not signed until 2 weeks into the season by the White Sox, Garrett Hampson, one of the most criticized signings all season long, and Michael Garcia, a guy who felt like he hadn't had a hit since the Korean War. And those are the guys that came through. Michael Garcia was against Ian Hamilton. Shut up. You get the point. All right? You understand what I'm talking about. It was so satisfying last night. So satisfying last night. Watching the Royals come through, especially after the first inning. It would be satisfying because it's the postseason win regardless.
Sure.
And you even the series. But just something about it made it more satisfying the way that Rodon acted like a child in the first inning. It's on, boys.
It's just so soft.
What a tool.
Talk smack, and then he got smacked. I love Michael Garcia on Twitter. Sure looks like this is a real Michael Garcia.
It is.
Says, quoting a Carlos Rodon celebration first inning clip, says, "Don't celebrate too early."
Nope, because that celebration on Michael Garcia, by the way, was the last time they got Michael Garcia out last night. The man went 4 for 4 the rest of the game. Phenomenal night. We'll talk some Royals. Obviously, we'll talk some Chiefs. Adam Teicher will join us coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. Les Norman breaking the norm coming up at noon. Oh boy, we're going to have some fun with Les Norman. Todd Lebo, Fact or Fiction.
Fact.
The boys are back in town. They're coming to Kansas City. Hey, 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 hey. The K will be rocking tomorrow. First time since October 28th, 2015. We get a playoff game at the K. First time, and the last time, was a team from New York that came in town. And Johnny Cueto, complete game 2-hitter, shut him down, and the Royals took a 2-0 lead to New York, and they would not return without the trophy. Or as Rob Manfred said, a piece of metal. They returned with that piece of metal trophy from New York. The Yankees are going back to New York. It's just a matter of do the Royals follow them or not. And I think there's a pretty decent chance the Royals do not follow them back to New York.
I can't wait for the Royals, knock on wood, sorry dogs, to win this series against the Yankees, and they all post out, well, actually, the Yankees won. We just got lucky. Because
Well, let's hear Jazz. Let's hear Jazz. It's clip number 8. This is Jazz Chisholm after the game last night in the Yankees clubhouse, weighing in on well, I think there's some sort of a fruit in his mouth. It could be purple. It could be green. It's definitely sour. That's for sure.
How different does the series feel now after game 2 compared to after game 1?
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, you know. I don't feel like anybody feels any different, you know. We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky.
Yeah, and let me tell you, if there's one thing that's lucky, it's definitely not the guy who was thrown out in game 1 and was luckily enough called safe on the field, the wrong call by the umpire, getting it wrong, and New York not having the stones to overturn what was an obvious out call with the shot from center field that showed Massey's glove on Jazz Chisholm's foot and the space between his foot and the bag.
Yep.
Clear space that was call stands, and he was the winning run. That's the guy saying the other team got lucky. That's as rich as Carlos Rodon. That's as rich as the $160 million man that didn't even go 4 innings last night. Like, give me a break, dude. Give me a break. The Royals got lucky? You're lucky you're not down 2-0.
Yeah.
Because game 1 was back and forth. You were down 4-1 in the 9th, and you got the home run. Nice job. Well done, Jazz. Welcome to Kansas City. We'll show you what real Jazz is about. All right?
Ooh.
You'll learn about real Jazz here in Kansas City.
Damn, Jason.
I'm just saying. I'm not
Heater.
saying. I'm just saying. It was just so annoying last night, man. I had so much fun while being annoyed at Carlos Rodon, and then you get that sort of like that bleep you sort of off your chest when Salvi hits the home run, and then Tommy Pham comes through. Well, Gurriel comes through. Then Tommy Pham comes through. Then Garrett Hampson comes through. If they gave out divisional series MVPs, it's probably Garrett Hampson right now.
Oh, yeah.
And
Like
they
we
don't.
all thought, by the
Yeah,
way. We all
they
thought
don't.
that.
Well, we talked on Thursday or Friday, one of the two, when we were talking about the Yankee series, and we were discussing Vinny Pasquantino's thoughts and said, they're going to work around Bobby. I'm going to have a big series. We discussed the previous series in New York in September where Salvi was amazing. Home runs, doubles in those 3 games. One of the reasons why the Royals had a chance to win 2 of 3. They lost game 3 in extras. And they were that close to taking 2 of 3 there in New York. Salvi was unbelievable. We were like, Salvi's got to come through. Who's going to lead off? Are they going to go with Michael Massey when Carlos Rodon's on the mound? I still would go with Michael Massey with Carlos Rodon on the mound. I was wrong. Q was right. Michael Garcia was brilliant last night. It was awesome. But we talked about somebody besides 2, 3, 4. We didn't know who. Yuli's been there before, right? He's played in 80 postseason games. So he's a guy that's,
Sure.
Houston calls him playoff Yuli. They love him. we didn't know who it was, but somebody needed to come through and have a couple of clutch hits somewhere along the line, or multiple guys, or Pham come through with a clutch hit, or Frazier come through with a clutch hit. Gurriel, or Renfro, or DeYoung, who hasn't played since 2019 apparently. Somebody needed it, or Fermin, something like that. Somebody coming through that we weren't talking about 2, 3, 4, and that's been Garrett Hampson, and it's been unbelievable because what did we talk about before the postseason started? This is an opportunity for you to change the narrative, or continue the narrative, or build a legacy in the postseason. And right now, nobody gives a flying bleep about what Garrett Hampson did to them during the regular season.
No.
Nobody cares at all, because what they care about is that man coming up with 2 big base hits in this series, and a big reason why they could have, maybe should have won Game 1 and did win Game 2, and why you feel good about what this offense is doing.
Well, I think so much room for enthusiasm. Again, Jazz, sorry, pal. The Royals being lucky. Bobby Witt Jr. has been brutal.
Yeah, he's lost right now.
Vinny has been brutal. And it's 1-1 heading back to KC.
Yeah.
Bobby and Vinny, your 2-3 hitters for the Royals, have been atrocious at the plate.
Yeah,
Bobby made some really good defensive plays.
He had a rough one.
He had a rough one,
bounced off his glove, but then he turned that double play, and that was brilliant.
Is Stanton the slowest man alive?
He is, yes. Giancarlo Stanton, and I think he and Billy Butler can have a slow off.
Billy would smoke him.
Billy would be Willie Mays Hayes in Major League, waking up out of bed and then running in pajamas and smoking Giancarlo Stanton.
Billy could eat his big country breakfast and then run and still smoke Stanton. That's the slowest guy. I know they're like, well, his legs, and he's kind of banged up. What? My grandpa Jimmy, who's 90 years old, runs faster than Stanton.
I'm going to get you, Giancarlo.
I'm getting Grandpa Jimmy. I'm going to get you. We're flying you up from Florida, and you're going to race Giancarlo Stanton, and you're going to smoke him.
He's going to stop halfway down the line and flip somebody a Werther's original, and then continue racing and still beat Giancarlo Stanton.
I mean,
you want some hard candy there?
It's wild.
Vinny, Yuli Gurriel, would you like some hard candy?
I would like a butterscotch. I would like a butterscotch.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't like a butterscotch? Can we hear sad Bob Costas? Can we hear sad Bob Costas last night? The only thing that's not necessarily enjoyable about it is hearing terrible Bob Costas. I mean, if you had, I had the Royals on the big screen and the Chiefs and the
which audio was worse? Was the double audio on the Monday Night Football or Bob Costas just regular?
It's Bob Costas regular.
I think so.
Bob Costas, clear as crystal, was more brutal than hearing an echo and double audio or anybody else talking on Monday Night Football. Double play in the 8th inning. Bobby Witt, a hard hit ball, snatches it, fires to Massey. Massey over to Yuli. Here's Bob Costas, who's heartbroken.
Hit to short. Witt gets the force. Can they turn 2? Yes, they can, and it's just the point we were making. It's not Giancarlo's fault. A near base hit. Couldn't beat it out at the other end. Turns into a double play.
He was so sad. Can we hear it real quick one more time? One more time. I just want to hear Bob Costas one more time. Clip number 9, though. Clip number 9. I want to hear I just want to hear one more time. It's about 13 seconds. Sad Bob Costas, the ground ball. Clip 9, and then we'll play something else there. But clip 9, sad Bob Costas.
Hit to short. Witt gets the force. Can they turn 2? Yes, they can, and it's just the point we were making.
Son
it's
of
not
a...
Giancarlo's fault. A near base
not
hit.
His fault.
Couldn't beat it out at the other end. Turns into a double play.
Why can't something good happen for us? My God. Why hast thou forsaken me? Why am I a tortured Yankees fan? I must sit up here and broadcast this game while my Yankees can't catch a break. These damned lucky Royals. Am I forever cursed?
Also, I love it. It's not his fault. You mean the slowest guy in Major League Baseball hitting a ground ball to the shortstop with a guy on first? How is that not his fault?
I did love one of the most famous scenes with Bob Costas and Giancarlo Stanton in the history of movies.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know. No, you don't.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Right?
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Don't
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Don't with me, all right? Don't with me. It's not you.
It's not Giancarlo's fault. It's not Giancarlo's fault. It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I'm so sorry.
The amount of passion Giancarlo has for hitting into a double play. I mean, you feel right there. Like, I feel bad for him. You see how bad he feels, right? I mean, that's just pure raw emotion pouring out while he's hugging Bob Costas.
I love the Goodwill Hunting pull right there.
What are you talking
about? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was
that was an actual conversation between Bob Costas and Giancarlo Stanton after the game was over.
It's on me.
What did it sound like?
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
It's not your fault.
No, you don't.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Don't bleep
It's
with me,
not
man.
Giancarlo's
He's getting
fault.
annoyed right now.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Just have to let him know.
Don't with me, all right? Don't with me. It's not you.
It's
your
not
fault you're slow.
Giancarlo's fault.
The mic'd ups are getting a lot better.
It's not
Great
Giancarlo's
audio from the
fault.
clubhouse that they leaked. I don't know why the Yankees would do that.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
It's a double. It happens, Giancarlo. There's nothing to apologize for, man.
I know.
He told you it's not your fault.
I know. Don't bleep with me, man.
I wonder, was the crying Giancarlo or was that Bob Costas? I'm actually not
It was
sure.
both, actually.
At the end, they were actually hugging each other. They were both sobbing together.
Their tears melded.
It's not your fault, Giancarlo.
I will say, why
can't we catch a break as Yankees, man? The pinstripes should mean good luck. That's what they're there for.
Oh, that's no. It's not just the pinstripes. It's why there can't have any beard. It's supposed to be for good luck.
You beat me to it.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, Dylan.
No, I love that you hit on that.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
That
that
is.
dumbass mustache on Berti in the ninth inning. God, he looks so goofy as
I will
hell,
say,
man.
don't make fun of mustaches.
Because nothing better nothing looks better than a beard than Tim Hill's mustache. You need Tim Hill's mustache instead of a full
I mean,
beard.
here's the thing. You don't have to grow the mustache.
No, you don't. I'm just saying, like,
Verdugo.
the rules of, like, which one is acceptable and which
Right,
one isn't.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Jake Rogers with a mustache looks like 1980s baseball. Jake Rogers.
No. 1880s baseball.
Jake Rogers with a
Is this
full
the guy in the
beard.
Tigers?
Yeah, Jake
Yeah.
Rogers with a full beard looks kind of cool. Like,
Decent looking guy.
That dude's a
The guy
decent
looks
looking
like
guy.
The
Yeah.
Lorax?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
decent
the
looking guy.
Lorax, yeah.
Might be a bouncer, maybe. I don't know, just from like the headshot. You know, might be a guy that you wouldn't want to mess with, right?
Yeah.
Mustache, like, oh my God, dude, are you trying to sell me car insurance?
I'm 1000% messing with that guy. No. That guy has rickets.
Are you knocking
He
at my
has-
door trying to tell me about the Jehovah? Have you witnessed this? What are you trying to do here? No, I'm busy right now. I don't need siding or windows. I
That
appreciate
guy
it, Jake
has
Rogers.
scurvy and has never eaten a vegetable. He is an 1800s.
No lemon on board. There's no lemons on board here. All right.
And also he swings like it, too, and runs like it. Like, he's very
I
top-heavy.
don't know what he does in his part-time, whatever. I mean, I guess it's sort of 1980s. That's perfectly fine. Hey, congratulations, Sterling.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Is the voice gone from Saturday night or last night?
Both.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Friday night as well.
Real quick before we take a break, how did you keep track of the Royals while you were out there at Arrowhead?
So we were in a suite, and so we actually
course you were.
we had the Royals game on.
Of course you were.
We had the Royals game actually on the TV.
So what were you
watching-
doing? Were you like right and left,
the
right
hall,
and left?
The hall was pretty nice. You'd sit in the little. We get down to your seat. You'd kind of stand there.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's kind of standing there.
The best seat was like to where you could see the TV and the field. Usually the best seat is like in the front row there, but you couldn't see the TVs. The best seat is like straddling outside and inside while I can see the Chiefs.
100%. And I got a lot of beer.
Shocker
so
you were in a suite.
So the Royals would go to, it'd be the end of a half inning. I'd run down to my seat and sit down there. I'm like, okay, chug my beer. How quick can I drink this? Oh, I got to get another beer. And so I'd go up and then good. The next half inning started. Lovely.
Anybody else watching at home thought that was the shortest halftime in the history of NFL halftime?
100%.
Usually they last so long, and I'm like, good God, let's come back already. Let's play some football. This one, I'm like, all right, halftime, I can focus on the Royals.
Well, now was
the
an
hell happened? Why are they kicking off already?
And that was when great things were happening, too, for
Yes.
the Royals. And so we were all sitting there. And what was great about Arrowhead, let's go Royals chants were
Thought that was cool.
permeating
Yeah.
throughout Arrowhead. I mean, it was loud.
So much blue in there. I'm glad they weren't playing a blue team. but
Like Carolina.
Blue and red, right. It was so cool to see on TV that going on. It was cool to see the Royals fans in New York as well. I mean, Shane Summers went to game 1 there in New York. That was pretty
Yeah.
badass, man. That's why he couldn't go to your wedding. Also, you didn't invite him, but he
Yeah.
was in New York.
A couple
They're,
things there.
they're at the Royals and Yankees game 1 tomorrow, man. Tomorrow is going to be absolutely electric. And I think it was Michael Massey that said, you know, going to the Chiefs playoff game at home a few years ago and hearing how loud it was and how crazy the fans were, and then people telling me what it was like in 14 and 15. And I just want to be able to experience that to see how loud Kauffman Stadium gets.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Get ready, because that place is going to be bananas tomorrow with Seth Lugo on the mound. Game 3 against the freaking Yankees. You got new blood and old blood Royals fans. New blood Royals fans, to hell with the Yankees. Old blood Royals fans, where Chris Chambliss was a cuss word in your house. You said Chris Chambliss, you got your mouth washed out with soap, okay? Soap poisoning. I didn't mean to say Chris Chambliss. Don't say it again, all right? Cuss word in your house. That's the old blood and new blood. It's going to come together at one night.
Make a
one
stew.
Night. Joining for one night the boomers and the Xers and millennials and Zers, whatever, all together. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway and ESPN Bet want to help you get ready this football season. Make sure you download the ESPN Bet app today and explore the action-packed online sportsbook with exclusive odds boosts and cutting-edge features. Then you can stop in right there at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway to catch all the action in person. I know Jason hit 7 of his 8-leg parlay.
You know what that is?
A loser. That's a loser. But what he should have done, Jason, is instead of taking the over 5.5 of Cole Reagan strikeouts, take the over under 5.5 beers drank by myself, Sterling. If you'd have taken that, that was an easy over. But you can catch all the action, playoff baseball, as well as all the football games. College football is also electric right there at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. You must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
time. There was maybe a 35 or 40-minute difference between Royals and Chiefs. I think we had 40 minutes or so between Royals and Chiefs, however long the Royals post-game show was with Jack last night.
Sure.
Because he did Royals right until the Chiefs game ended, then got into the post-game show on Sports Radio 810. He did both of those last night. He was pulling double duty. So I was if it was the same length of time as Saturday's game, they would have coincided because Saturday's game was 3.5 hours, and the Royals started about 35 minutes before the Chiefs, and NFL is usually 3 hours. But we had a good 40 minutes where we could focus on the Chiefs, and at that point they were sort of controlling the game, and winning by more than one score. What are they doing?
It was lovely because you could almost focus, and everyone there was in tune with the Royals game, and Arrowhead was cool. They were.
Do you
putting
remember what
score.
time in the game the Royals game ended?
I don't remember the exact same time. I don't remember. I
thought maybe you would remember because you were out there. I remember seeing it on TV.
I wanted to say it was towards the end of the third or middle of the third quarter for the. Maybe it was the end of the third.
Yeah, something because I know that there was a roar that went through, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman talked about it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, they just posted the Royals have won. They've knocked off the Yankees.
They're putting the score up
and then,
earlier.
Oddly enough, Joe Buck started talking about Madison Bumgarner for some reason. I'm joking. He did not. No, I like Joe Buck, actually. He was.
I do, too.
He was one of my favorite interviews in Tahoe, not this summer, but the summer before. We sat down for 30 minutes, and it was so good of him getting into so many different things. And
I say this all the time. Everyone would love Joe Buck in Kansas City if it wasn't for that one specific. And quite frankly, I understand. When you look back, you're like, okay, what Madison Bumgarner did was historic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was annoying. It was infuriating during the moment. But for me, it's that outlier. It's that outlier for me.
Game time was 3 hours, 7 minutes.
3 hours, 7 minutes,
just,
okay.
Probably, 9:45 then? Probably game in if we're going off. I don't know if they actually started at 38, but.
I think they started at 38.
38:30.
Yeah, I think
they're very exact with these times.
Yeah, they actually are.
Yeah.
It's odd. So 3 hours, 7 minutes, whatever that was. That's cool. But it wasn't 3.5 hours. It was a little bit less time. But
I believe the Saints had the ball though when it happened. They were moving down the field and.
Yeah, Foster Moreau scored right after it ended.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and everyone's like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Great play by Foster, too.
By the way, 913-912-4810. This is a great text and a great idea. It says, please, dear Lord, 8-pound, 10-ounce baby Jesus, let the Royals win so we can get Sad Fans Bob Costas edition.
Wow.
We could do that now.
We could. What would Sad Fans Bob Costas edition sound like currently after 2 games through the playoffs, through the American League Divisional Series?
Hit to short. Witt gets the force. Can they turn 2? Yes, they can, and it's just the point we were making. It's not Giancarlo's fault. A near base hit. Couldn't beat it out at the other end. Turns into a double play.
So, yes, they can.
I think Salvi beats that out, by the way.
I think I beat that out. No, I don't. I'm really, really slow. Text says, Yankees are 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Maybe they're the lucky ones to win one game. I mean,
burn.
Not wrong, dude. I don't know. All right, 913-912-4810 is the text line. Text says, scoring all those runs without Witt or Vinny getting hits. That's the thing, is right now, Witt is lost, and they went to New York, and they got a game. And now they come home to where the man is like a 1.1 OPS at Kauffman Stadium.
Seriously,
he's an all-star on the road.
Yes.
OPSing at like 870. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the best bats in Kauffman Stadium this year. What's that, Dylan? What do you say?
It was a soft. Let's take a break.
Was it a soft break?
It was a soft break.
It was just like
soft break.
It's like a hairline break. It's hairline fracture.
It's like the green flag before the checkered flag, or the.
Can we do green white checkered here?
Yeah.
Green white checkered here. Okay,
go.
great. That's white flag. All right, let's do that, Dylan. I don't want to get yelled at in the break here, so we will take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. Adam Teicher joins us at 11 o'clock. We'll obviously talk a lot of Chiefs with Adam. Les Norman will join us at noon. We'll talk about why the Royals cannot score in the red zone. Wait a minute. That's what it is. Yes, Royals red zone issues. And Bobby Witt keeps throwing interceptions. So we'll talk with Les Norman about that and what's going on with this Royals and Chiefs team. And with Les, we'll discuss some jazz. Good jazz. Kansas City jazz. Not complaining, crying, sour grapes jazz. You sure we should take a timeout, Dylan? Okay, great. Let's do it right now. You know, I know somebody who wasn't suffering from low testosterone in the first inning. It was Carlos Rodon. I know somebody who might have been suffering from low testosterone in the fourth inning, and that's Carlos Rodon. But somebody that wasn't suffering for the entire game was me because of Heartland Men's Health. And look, there are many symptoms that can manifest from low testosterone. It can be bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. It could be low sex drive. There's a lot of things that could be attributed, these symptoms, to low testosterone because men in their early to mid-30s start losing 2 to 3% of their testosterone production every year. Happens gradually. Before you know it, that cumulative effect, you're down, 20, 30%, whatever it might be of your testosterone. In fact, some guys in their 20s start losing testosterone early. Heartland Men's Health, they've got they've got people there that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. You never know what might be going on and some of the symptoms that could be related to low T. So if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, even in your 20s, and you don't feel the same way that you did before, you feel like maybe it's connected to low testosterone. Schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. They'll do your lab work, have your results within 30 minutes. A licensed medical provider will review your results with you, discuss your options, and help you make the decision together with their medical team. Cost of the appointment is only $99, and it includes medical consult, T, and PSA test. And if you sign up for testosterone treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. You could be back to having those higher energy levels, better gains in the gym, sleeping better, waking up, feeling more refreshed, more productive at work, no more brain fog. That's been a big one for me, afternoon brain fog. Didn't even know what it was. Just thought I was tired. That's been alleviated. It's been awesome and fantastic working with Heartland Men's Health. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. They have 3 locations to serve you. Overland Park, Independence location, which is right between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and the new office in North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. All right, talking with Adam Teicher. Adam, crybaby Bob Costas, your thoughts. Adam, was Bob Costas more disappointed in the double play or the Jets firing Robert Saleh today?
There is a good alliteration I want to do with Bob Costas, with Bob, but I can't because the word is inappropriate to say on air.
Tex says, of course Sterling was in a suite. He probably just showed up and got a free upgrade. That's right.
It was funny, though. So the tailgate I was supposed to go to, shout out KULA Chief. Is it Kula
Sure.
Chief? I believe. Invited me to his tailgate.
Nice.
Really nice guy. He got me some beer and everything, too. I wasn't able to make it in time.
Oh, nice job.
But apparently Jason Kelsey stopped by that tailgate.
Dylan!
And
what did I say yesterday? My prediction is that Sterling's life is so farcical that he'll end up at a tailgate with Jason Kelsey.
He did.
so the tailgate I was supposed to go to,
Damn it.
actually Jason Kelsey
So
was
you
at.
let me down.
I let you down by letting myself down. It took too
right.
long to park. It was I got Jack Stack. I had some barbecue. It was intense. But I did have a rapper who I didn't know about, Young Gravy, sitting in front of me
go.
in the suite. Didn't know who this guy necessarily was, but people around me did.
Okay.
Young Gravy.
There we go. I'm a little annoyed that you didn't end up at that tailgate. So
It's on me.
So here's the deal, Dylan.
Hey, Sterling, go to bed.
No.
That's right.
Thanks, Pat.
Oh, we're playing that one a lot. And it's like I'm talking to Sterling here.
Hey, Sterling, go to bed.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Les Norman coming up at noon. Right now, talking some Chiefs football. Adam Teicher, presented by Twin Peaks from ESPN Chiefs Insider. Adam, welcome into the show. How are you, sir?
Good, Jason. How are you doing today?
I am doing just fine. I do want to get into this Chiefs team and some of the bigger issues, mainly why the Royals cannot come through in the red zone, and Bobby Witt has had 4 or 5 games in a row with an interception. There's some things going on, but the outfield for the Royals and the defense have continued to shut down the other baseball teams' leading rushers. So I may have stayed up too late last night. I may be confused as to what I was watching, but I think I got it all right, Adam.
Well, I got tickets to tomorrow night's game, so I need to know
yes.
the answers to everything you just talked about there. So,
dude,
I
am
can't wait to
so
hear
pumped for you, man.
Your analysis. I can't wait to hear your analysis.
Yes, dude, that is awesome. Do you know where the tickets are besides just in the stadium?
Yeah, somebody's going to have to tell me where the stadium is, because I'm not sure where the Royals play, but it's somewhere in there, yeah.
Just act like you're driving to work, and you'll find it. It'll be somewhere right around there. Just
take a left turn where you normally take a right
That's
turn?
exactly
Is that
right.
What you mean?
100%. 100%.
All right.
Adam Teicher is our guest. Okay, let's talk about last night, obviously with the Chiefs specifically, but we always start off with just sort of a general takeaway from the game. Chiefs are 5-0, one of 2 remaining undefeated teams. Both teams randomly are on the bye this week with the Minnesota Vikings and the Chiefs. But your takeaway and reaction to the Chiefs getting that win against the Saints?
Well, I mean, we know they're not playing their best ball, certainly not offensively, but they're still 5-0, and you feel like there's another gear here, and without Rice and without Hollywood Brown, and for now without Pacheco, can they get to that gear? Well, last night I thought they easily could have. The Saints aren't the best team in the league, so it would have been no real feather in your cap to stick up a big number against them if they'd been able to score a couple more times in the red zone down there. But I still feel like this is a team that can get to where it wants to go. It's going to have to be built like last year, or constructed like last year, where the defense carries a good share of the load. I mean, that's going to have to be part of the equation probably. But I still think the Chiefs are in really good shape despite the way they're playing offensively. And, here's the other thing that I think just gets completely overlooked. They now have a 5-game winning streak this year, right? Mm-hmm. This is the 12th straight year that they've had a winning streak in the regular season of at least 5 games. That's 12 years in a row. Who does that? I mean, the old NFL record was like 7 or 8. I mean, they blew through that years ago. And I just think that the consistency this team shows and its ability to win, even when things aren't real pretty, like last night, for instance, is just remarkable.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat. That 12 years in a row winning at least 5 games. I mean, there are teams that don't have a 4 or 5 year stretch of where they win, 5 games in a season. Right? I mean, plenty of teams. I wonder how many teams across. I wonder what the longest stretch of teams that have won at least 5 games in a season is over the last 12 years. Like what the record is. Like, is it 5 years in a row, 6 years, 7 years? Is there a team out there that's gone longer? Because even the Patriots have struggled at times. Like post Tom Brady, like 5 wins in one season. To do that 12 years in a row in this league is actually kind of difficult to do. I guess the Steelers would be that because Tomlin's always at least 500.
And it's just amazing, what they've done here. I mean, you look at the few years before Andy Reid got there. I mean, they in 2007 they won 4 games. In 2008 they won 4 games. In 2009 they won 4 games. And there was a couple 2-win seasons in there. So there were seasons where they didn't get to 5 at all in like 5 of the 7 seasons before Andy Reid got there. So it's truly amazing where they were and where they are now.
Yeah, Adam Teicher is our guest from ESPN, our Chiefs insider, talking about the undefeated Chiefs as they get set for their bye week, and then they'll head to San Francisco. One of the things that's been impressive too, and maybe this goes along with the 12 straight years of having a 5-game winning streak is the Chiefs and the personnel department and finding different players, whether that be in the draft or free agency or off the street, on their couch or released by a lesser team. That, we're talking about Rashee Rice not playing, more than likely the rest of this year. And we'll get an update at some point today. We're expected to get an update as he goes through the arthroscopic, deal with the knee specialist. But without Rashee Rice, Adam, they go out there and Juju Smith-Schuster running those routes ends up with 7 catches, 130 yards in the game, 8 targets. Randomly, the only target he did not come down with was the one that was intercepted in the end zone. But I don't know that Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be a guy that does this, but I know that they won a Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster being a guy that Patrick Mahomes threw those underneath routes to and trusted with the ball and was a guy that he did target a lot before he went to New England last year. So to me, the volume and the numbers of 130 yards and 8 targets, maybe the yards definitely is more than I thought. But Patrick Mahomes without Rashee Rice and having a week to prepare, not surprising that he did look to Juju as often as he did.
No, not at all. And he's the one who's going to pick up the most snaps from Rashee Rice's absence here. So, it's not at all surprising. His game of all the Chiefs receivers is most similar to that of Rice. So, he even looked like Rice running with the ball after the catch a couple times yesterday. So, he's not going to be as much of a physical type runner. He's not going to break tackles probably like Rice did, but he can do some of the same things. So, they're going to have to make do with the guys they have. I'm sure they'll pick up somebody before the trade deadline, but I feel like for the most part the answer for the Chiefs is what they have on the roster right now, and that's a pretty good start last night. And it just struck me, toward the end of the game, the 2 old heroes, Juju Smith-Schuster and Kareem Hunt. I mean, how often does that happen? Guys move on and for whatever reasons, and then they come back and they're the heroes for their old team on a night when the Chiefs had to have it.
Yeah, and so let me ask you this: if Benjamin Solak tweeted this out last night. So Juju Smith-Schuster, 130 receiving yards are his most in a game since the 2020-21 season wild card round with the Steelers. That was 1,366 days ago. Kareem Hunt's 102 rushing yards are his most in a game since 2020 season with the Browns. That was 1,422 days ago, and they did it in the same game. But let me ask you this about Kareem Hunt. How many games, if I gave you, if I said, set the over-under for Vegas, how many games it'll take for Kareem Hunt to get 44 touches with the Chiefs now that he's playing and they're starting Carson Steele against the Chargers. What would you say the over-under, Adam, is going to be for Kareem Hunt to get 44 touches?
It would have been more than 2. I would have hammered the over on 2.
No doubt.
I guarantee you that.
We're going to set it at 2.5. Yeah, give me the over, and I'm going to put my house on that.
Absolutely. That would have been the easiest bet you ever lost money on. But, he's remarkable. And, what he's been able to do without having played in a football game in 8 months or really even practiced football to any great extent. I mean, the Chiefs practice now, but they don't do a whole lot. I mean, football now is – practice now is basically a dress rehearsal where they go out there and they kind of at a slow speed go through the things they're going to work on in the game that Sunday. So there's not a whole lot of real football. There's no tackling or hitting or anything like that. So it's done at a slower speed. So what he's been able to do is remarkable, and I was surprised he was even able to walk after the game last night just because, 28, 29 touches, something like that. But the guy's been remarkable, and you know what? Throw him in the mix for Chiefs MVP. I mean, I don't think they win last week without him in L.A. They probably find a way last night, but you know what? He's been that good. He needs to play even when Pacheco comes back, And Pat Mahomes
Yes.
even made a reference to that. He's like, "Yeah, we're going to have a real good 1-2 punch
Yep.
here." So when Pacheco comes back, so he's right. I mean, and those two guys have to be part of the solution. They need to be part of the group of guys who helps replace the production they lost in Rashee Rice and maybe even Hollywood Brown. Not necessarily just all as receiver, but with what they do in the running game.
Yeah, 28 touches last night, 117 total yards rushing and receiving. And I'll say, too, that Pacheco could have very easily done the same thing because I trust Pacheco as a running back. But it was quintessential Kareem Hunt on that 4th down and 1 after the lateral from Travis Kelce to Samaje Perine, and they went for it. There are a number of running backs that get tackled in the backfield. And don't pick up that 4th down. As soon as they handed it off, I'm like, oh, God. The Saints read this. They're there. And sliding to his left a little bit, getting through the hole and then diving. And it's like, he picked that up. And I said to my son, I'm like, that's the Kareem Hunt I remember from a long time ago. And I think Pacheco may have done that. Maybe Carson Steele would have been able to pick it up. I don't know. But I know for a fact that Kareem Hunt was in there and slid past a defender and sort of created that, not on his own because the offensive line, was there and blocking, but still a lot of that was finding a way to pick up a yard or two. And it's such a Kareem Hunt skill in that you don't typically see him falling backwards or not falling forward when he gets hit. Marcus Allen had that trait, and that was great. He would slide through and slither through, smaller holes and fall forward. Kareem Hunt, obviously a stockier player than that, but I don't remember many times where Kareem Hunt got hit and went backwards. He'll slide off, he'll spin around, and find a way to pick up a half yard or an extra yard. And to me, Adam, that's even a bigger part of this offense moving forward is sometimes those short yardage situations. Carson Steele's a tougher guy. Isaiah Pacheco looks for contact. But Kareem Hunt's ability to slide past a guy and even pick up an extra half yard or a yard could be crucial on a big 3rd and short or a 4th and short, this season.
Oh, he's really good at that. And one of the things for the Chiefs going forward is one of the keys for them offensively is going to be to avoid negative plays, whether that's sacks, penalties, certainly turnovers, but also negative rushing plays, and when you can get 3 and you only get 1, that's a negative play. And when you can get, whatever it is, when you get 9 and you only get 6, that's a negative play. His ability to maximize what's there on a running play is everything the Chiefs need right now. I mean, this is not a team that's going to be, remember back in the day the Chiefs would laugh at 3rd and 20 or whatever? I mean, they can't laugh at that now. I mean, that's a real just like for other teams, that's a real obstacle for them now. So they have to stay out of those situations, and he's a guy who can help them do that.
Visiting with Adam Teicher from ESPN, it was just 3rd and Mahomes, right? It was what we used to call it. Like, well, it's 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. That's 3rd and Mahomes. They'll find a way to get it done. They had 2nd and 34 and found a way to pick it up. That's not typical Chiefs, but they got the 12-yard little pass to Juju Smith-Schuster. And then, Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce when he said, I was throwing him the ball to get into field goal range. And, of course, then he laterals it to Samaje Perine. And it's like I'm talking to Sterling. It was a great line from Patrick Mahomes. But when he did that, there was a part of me, I think I had the same reaction, Adam, that everybody – well, I'll ask you your reaction. When they did that, in your mind was, okay, is he freelancing or is that part of the play that Samaje Perine is trailing because – they've practiced it that Travis Kelce might toss him the football as a lateral?
Yeah, no, I don't think that was rehearsed or anything. Guys just kind of know now that when they're trailing Samaje Perine, when they're trailing Travis Kelce, you better have your head on a swivel there and be ready to go. And Perine said he's seen it. I talked to him after the game briefly, and he said he's seen it in practice, and he knew, he'd seen it on TV. He's seen him do it, and he said, you know what, I better be ready to go here. And even Juju, was talking about it. You heard talking about it after the game. He's like, hey, I want to get some of those yards. I want to be ready to go. It was not a called thing. I mean, it's just sort of them improvising a little bit there.
Yeah, I want the stat line of no receptions, but an 8-yard receiving yards.
There you go.
I want that odd
good.
thing.
good for the average.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This guy is averaging infinity, I guess. No receptions, yet 8 receiving yards. Explain that.
Yeah.
Well, Travis Kelce. All right, I get it. Now that's explained.
It can make you look like you're a big yardage receiver. You know, you
Yes.
get all these freebies. You just get all these yards that you didn't really do anything, and it's a good thing for the average.
Yeah, it's weird. Samaje Perine, 1 reception, 24 yards that he had, yet his long reception is 15. Well, hold on. How's his long of 15 when he only has 1 reception? Well, Travis Kelce. That's how that happens. You know what? The next evolution of that, Adam, is Travis Kelce to fake the lateral and then, take it upfield if the guys are ready for him to maybe lateral it. And them thinking he's going to lateral this.
That's the oldest trick in the football book. But, yeah, I agree. We'll see that at some point, no doubt.
Speaking of that, I feel like every week Patrick Mahomes gets some victim on he's outside the pocket, he's not going to throw the ball, he pump fakes, and yet that guy still jumps. Every week he does that. It's amazing. It's like he got another one last night, got another pelt last night with a Saints player to go and pick up the first down and then rushing it. It's just some of those instinctual things come through in the game, and that's where sometimes numbers don't back up what the player means on the field. Travis Kelce finding that they got 3 points on that drive, right? I mean, so they got a field goal. Maybe they do the same thing. If he doesn't lateral it, they get the field goal, but they had a chance to score a touchdown. And then Patrick Mahomes, that little pump fake, like those are a couple things where you extend drives, you pick up some of those hidden yards, and it makes it a little bit easier for you to where you can, win some closer games, some lower scoring games by finding a way to pick up some hidden yards.
Yeah, his football sense is one of the things he doesn't get enough credit for. I mean, he just knows what to do with the ball in his hands. And, I remember he was good last year, so good at running and picking up first downs and knowing when to go and when not to go. And he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's such an effective runner. And, I looked it up and compared him to all the quote-unquote running quarterbacks, the Lamar Jacksons and the Josh Allens and all these guys who are better runners physically at least than him. And, he was so much better, so much more efficient at picking up first downs, and when he decides to run, how much smarter he is than those guys. So that's a part of his game that, and that's part of it, just knowing when to go and when not to go and how to get out of trouble. He's really good at that.
Credit Randy Gisarelli for this stat. He put this out last night. Patrick Mahomes, 23 rushing attempts, but he has 10 kneel downs. Without the 10 kneel downs and the yardage lost, Patrick Mahomes has 13 rushes for 103 yards, averaging 8 yards per attempt when he scrambles and runs the ball. So to your point, knowing when to do it and things like that.
Yeah, and, that's certainly part of it. I mean, it's hard to compare one quarterback scramble to another because the circumstances are completely different. But you're right. I mean, that is, how many times does he take off and get nothing? It's hardly ever. It just rarely happens. So he is really smart with it.
Adam Teich is our guest from ESPN. All right, let's talk about one of the storylines that we've seen through 5 weeks, and it definitely showed its ugly head last night, and that is red zone for this Chiefs team. I feel like this is 5 years running. Maybe we've had this conversation about the Chiefs in the red zone. I don't know. It seems like it's a weekly or yearly, not weekly, but certainly yearly conversation we have about, boy, they're just not successful in the red zone for some reason. What are you seeing from this team? Is there anything different this year versus last year, the year before? Or is this just simply maybe the offense for the Chiefs is set up from the 20 to the 20? They'll get some big plays, but they're not going to be a team that's uber successful inside the 20 and inside the 10.
Well, that's kind of been the case, but I don't know why. I don't have an answer for you. And I thought that the opening touchdown that the Chiefs got on the Kareem Hunt run, I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's something that can unlock some things, and maybe they can run the ball down there. And I just feel like they need to try to do that a little more. When they got that one late in the game, when they got down there, and it was the one where they ended up scoring with
Worthy.
Xavier Worthy. Yes, I'm like, you know what? They just need to run the ball 4 times here. If they don't get in, they don't get in. But they need to do that right now because their passing game, for whatever reason, just doesn't work right down there. And I don't have an answer for you. I mean, I feel like, you know, I was kind of surprised the Chiefs didn't bring a wide receiver up for the practice squad, and specifically Justin Ross. And, you know, he's a guy who can be maybe one of the answers down there. You know, he was so good at training camp at those fades, and maybe they just need to go ahead and bring him up and run him to do those kinds of things, because I feel like they have other people who can do it, but it just isn't working real well right now.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. So on first down and goal from the 5-yard line, when they ran the shovel pass to Travis Kelce and Colin Saunders was there and made the tackle and sort of let everybody know, no, not I'm I played here for a while, guys, okay? I practiced against that. I saw this thing coming. I thought at that point it's like, all right, they already scored with Kareem Hunt down there. You've got second down and goal from the 2-yard line. Just, you know, hand it off 2 times. Like, they're not going to – again, we're talking about his ability to slide through and find, you know, creases and fall forward like 2 times, 3 times. Like, they're not going to stop Kareem Hunt down there. Just hand it off. And I think sometimes there's an element of I think Andy can sometimes coach to the stats. I think some Major League Baseball managers can do that with, well, I got to get him through the 5th inning so he can get a win, or I can't bring this guy in yet because he doesn't get a save. Because second down and 2, I think there's a little bit of, hey, let's get a touchdown pass from Mahomes. Let's throw this thing. Juju Smith-Schuster's, you know, run a little slant, and Mahomes will get a touchdown pass. Here we go. And you know, he hasn't had a lot of touchdown passes. We've run it in. Let's pass it here. I don't know if that's what's going through their mind, or if they really believe like, hey, this is the best chance on second down and 2 is to score by throwing the slant to Juju, as opposed to, I think, everybody in the world saying, just hand it off to Kareem Hunt, you're scoring. I don't know if that's going on, but I felt like against the Chargers, maybe not Andy Reid, but it certainly felt like Patrick Mahomes was, all right, I'm going to show everybody that Travis Kelce has not lost it. This is going to be a Travis Kelce game. I'm throwing to Travis Kelce. Now he has to. But do you get that sense, too, that sometimes down inside the 5-yard line or inside the 10-yard line, it's just like, you know, let's get a touchdown pass here for Patrick Mahomes. We're going to score, as opposed to, like, Kareem Hunt, hand it to him 3 times at second down and goal from the 2.
No, I don't. But, you know, it's you know, sometimes I wonder what the Chiefs, you know, this is like one of the supremely confident teams of our time, and for good reason, right? I mean, they've achieved so much and won so many games and done some remarkable things, but I think now it gets in their head down there. And one of the reasons I say that, you remember there was that interesting sequence, one of the early season games, I think it was against Cincinnati, where the Chiefs went forward on 4th and 1 from way down there, like the 5-yard line.
It was 4th and 1 from the 3, and they picked up the first down. Yeah, but then they had 4th and goal from the 1, and they kicked the field goal. Yeah. And so I asked Andy Reid why he did that way, and he just seemed exasperated, not at the question. It's like nothing we call down there works. Yep. So I felt like they're out. I took that to mean like, hey, even my endless bag of tricks is empty. I have nothing to that we can feel like is going to work down there anymore. We tried a bunch of them and we couldn't do it, so we better just take our 3 points and go home. So I think that's part of it now too. I think they're in their own heads a little bit down there, and they're just like, you know what, we have not been able to make this work so many times that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. Yeah. Visiting with Adam Teicher from ESPN, presented by Twin Peaks. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk about this dominant defense yet again for the Chiefs, what they've done against opposing rushing teams and their running backs, and then them winning these games by allowing minimal points. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. Twin Peaks joining us here. Adam, the Chiefs defense continues to do what they do. What did you make of the performance last night against the New Orleans Saints of Steve Spagnuolo and his defensive unit, what they put on?
Yeah, well, the first thing I wondered as I was watching that game is how did the Saints come into that game leading the league in scoring? I mean, what kind of
first 2 weeks of the season?
Is that? I guess so.
91 points the first 2 weeks, so we'll do it, I guess.
I guarantee you they're not going to finish there. So,
No.
But hey, the Chiefs did what they needed to do, I think they got pressure on Derek Carr when they wanted to, and that kind of changed the game, made things easier for them. So, they'll have tougher tests, the Chiefs will, but that was good. And, there were some things going in their favor last night. I mean, that was one of those games where, the Chiefs had the ball most of the game. They ran more than 1.5 plays for every one the Saints ran. And so they were, the defense wasn't put in any really bad situations. So, it was made things easier for them, but they still got the job done, and that was one of the reasons they won for sure.
What are you seeing from this running defense and why they are so successful? The numbers that are out there with the featured back, and last time we talked about this was after they had played Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, and Bijan Robinson, and you and I talked about, man, what are they doing against these featured running backs and how good they've looked. Now add in J.K. Dobbins and Alvin Kamara. It is 66 attempts for the featured backs for 169 yards or 2.6 yards per carry. Now, how does that compare? Okay, so that's 2.6 yards per carry against the Chiefs. Everyone else, those running backs have picked up 1,500 yards at 5.7 yards per carry, and they're 2.6 against the Chiefs. More than double the yards per carry against everyone else than they are against the Chiefs. Why do you think this team is as good as they are against the run that we've seen early this season?
I just think they're well coached and they're taken to their coaching. A lot of times when a team has trouble stopping the run, you talk to coaches, and one of the things you hear is, well, our run fits just aren't there. And you don't hear that with this group, and you don't see that with this group, So it's truly, they're where they're supposed to be, and they're there on time, and it truly is remarkable. I mean, Nick Bolton sometimes gets from point A to point B like nobody you've ever seen. He's just, remember the fourth down play in Atlanta. I mean, he can get when he needs to. That short yardage, those short area spurts he's got are pretty good. And so, they've got some guys capable of disrupting some things. And I just feel like it's all fitting together really well for them in that regard.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, the longest rush for Kamara was the run where he reversed all the way back and picked up like 9 yards on that play.
Yeah, somebody lost containment. Yeah.
That would have been like a loss of 5. It ended up being 9. Like, that was the best run of the night for Alvin Kamara, was one to where the Chiefs were there and had it, stuffed for a loss. And credit him. I thought Jalen Watson took a poor route. It was sort of an all-or-nothing dive instead of I'm going to, take a pursuit angle that's going to make him, not be able to turn the corner or cut it back. But, that's the longest one. Even that one was a broken play from the running back where Kamara had to go around the other way just to pick up 9 yards.
No, it's remarkable how they're doing this. And that's, we've talked about this, and it's not as important as it once was to play great run defense, but it doesn't mean it's not important at all. I mean, if you can make your opponent one-dimensional, that's a big thing. And, I feel like the Saints taking the ball last night when they won the coin toss, that was a nod to the Chiefs defensively.
Mm-hmm.
That was not it used to be, well, we need the ball as many times as we can get because Mahomes is going to score a bunch on us. Now it's, no, we need to get ahead of the Chiefs so we can run our whole playbook and we won't be one-dimensional. So I think you're seeing some things that are signs of respect to the Chiefs on defense.
I'll say this, too. I know the interception happened in the end zone, and it's unfortunate. Like, you want to score down there. The Chiefs win the game. It didn't cost them the game. If there was somebody that was going to come up with an interception for the Saints, I couldn't be more pleased that it ended up being Colin Saunders because he's one of the more enjoyable players that I got to cover here with the Chiefs. He's so fun and always happy. And I was glad to see that, he had a successful night on, his return here to Kansas City. So I was happy for him because he seems like a really, really good dude and is always smiling and happy. And so I thought that was pretty cool that he's the one on that night. And I bet he wanted to have a couple of big plays too. And he did. And so good for him because he was a really good dude to cover and was always nice and fun and smiling, which is always great when you're around somebody that just feels so warm and refreshing.
And Mahomes heard about it from him after the interception too. So,
for sure.
And how many guys will be able to say, you know what, I got an interception off Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there'll be some obviously, but a defensive lineman, man. I mean, it's just the most random thing, but. Yeah, that is a guy that you do wish has good things for, no doubt.
Yeah, I think Kevin Harlan called it a thick pick in the end zone. It's a thick pick.
There you go.
Yes, he definitely got that one. I thought it was also cool that they put up on the Jumbotron before the game of Willie Gay and Tyrann Mathieu and Turk Wharton and those guys as, hey, thank you for, the years here in Kansas City. That was pretty classy by the Chiefs to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, those guys were all in their own way a part of what happened out here, particularly Tyrann Mathieu. So, I mean, and it's one of the reasons guys like coming back here. I mean, it truly is amazing how many guys have left and come back to the Chiefs. Between Kareem Hunt and Juju Smith-Schuster, we always already talked about, but guys like Jody Fortson and McCole Hardman. I mean, the Chiefs are, you always don't burn any bridges when you leave Kansas City because the Chiefs will bring you back, and who knows, maybe you win a ring or two, or in the case of Juju and Kareem Hunt, you play a big role in a big victory.
Adam Teicher is our guest from ESPN, presented by Twin Peaks. Did you hear anything or get a sense from anybody around the Chiefs or in your coverage and reporting over this last few days of what the feeling is around this Rashee Rice scope and timeline and optimism or sense of hope or holding out hope? It's not as bad as thought, but it's still probably a season ending. Do you get a feel of what's going on? We should have some information soon since he's going under the anesthesia today to determine the extent of the injury. But did you get a feeling last night if this was leaning one way or another for them?
No, not really. This thing has been kind of weird from the start in that regard, that it's been sort of elusive to get a real diagnosis on it. And that tells you it's just not your garden variety injury, that this is the kind of thing that they don't run across all the time. And maybe there's multiple injuries that complicate things. So, it has been a weird journey there for sure.
Are you just simply approaching it as that, this guy's out for the season, and if anything happens contrary to that, today, then hey, that's just a positive. That's a icing on the cake, or whatever you want to call it. Found money is what that would be. Is that the way you're sort of approaching today when we finally get a little more information, hopefully?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that he'd be back this year. I think the chances of that are pretty low. Now, even if he is he going to be anything like the player he was before the injury? I mean, how much time is that? Forget about the time that he has to, recover, whatever that might be, 6-8 weeks, whatever it might be. how much time does it take from that point for him to become the player he was before? And so I just wouldn't, if you're a Chiefs fan, I wouldn't hold out much hope there.
Yeah, I would not as well. Adam Teicher from ESPN, presented by Twin Peaks. Adam, as always, appreciate it, brother. Enjoy the bye week, and we will talk next week as the Chiefs get ready for the 49ers. Thank you, sir.
All right, good stuff.
And enjoy the game tomorrow, by the way. Have fun out there.
No doubt. It'll be a good time.
Absolutely. There's Adam Teicher from ESPN covering the Chiefs, Chiefs Insider, presented by Twin Peaks, and he will be out there at Kauffman Stadium tomorrow watching the Royals and Yankees Game 3. Patrick Mahomes will be out there. There may be an issue between he and Brittany, conflict in him wanting to go to the Royals game and her wanting to go on vacation. I think Patrick wins that one. I'm just saying. I don't know. I have no idea what the dynamics of that relationship are. I'm just saying that I think Patrick will be at the game tomorrow. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. More Zone right after this on this Tuesday, Victory Tuesday. Two-time, double, do it twice. Twin Victory Tuesday on Sports Radio 810 WHB. they'll repair it. Or if they don't find as much damage, then maybe it's a rest and recovery injury for Rashee Rice, and maybe he can return. I know people had a lot of fun at Adam Schefter's expense last night with the reports that he had. I'm actually going to disagree with a lot of the fun being poked at Adam Schefter on the everybody saying like, oh, well, he was going to return, and then 5 minutes later, Adam Schefter said he's not going to return. So here's the original tweet that Adam Schefter put out. After consulting today with doctors, there's, quote, a lot of optimism, quote, that standout wide receiver Rashee Rice didn't suffer a knee injury as significant as first believed, per source. Rice will be put under anesthesia Tuesday to determine the extent of his injury, but the belief now is it could be a, quote, much shorter, end quote, recovery timeline than originally thought. He then puts out 5 minutes later, quote tweet, it's unlikely that Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice will play again this season, but doctors will not know for sure until they perform surgery Tuesday morning, per source. That was viewed as, wow, Adam Schefter, all of a sudden he's going to return, and now he's not going to return. He's out for the season. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, so you guys are assuming that the injury is not as significant as first believed, and the belief is that the recovery timeline is much shorter than originally thought. You're assuming that meant he'll return this season and not what they talked about last night on Monday Night Countdown, which was if this is not a full ACL repair, that's 9 to 12 months. If this is surgery to repair an LCL, then it could be 3 months, 4 months. That is a much shorter recovery timeline than originally thought. There's a lot of optimism that he didn't suffer a knee injury as significant as they first believed. Rashee Rice, it is unlikely that he will play this season. All of those things can be true.
Yeah.
Those are not necessarily conflicting reports, yet there was so much dunking, and I'm not an Adam Schefter defender, by the way. We've
Sure.
talked about that before. There was so much quick dunking on Adam Schefter last night, and any report from Adam Schefter, somebody replied and was like, 5 minutes later, let's wait and see what he says now. But I'm reading that, I'm like, it sounds like, okay, well, maybe he can return this season. And I think that's what the quote tweet was. Hey, people are saying this means Rashee Rice is going to return. It's unlikely that Rashee Rice will play again this season, but doctors will know more, and for sure, they won't know until they perform the surgery Tuesday morning. Everything that I reported in this tweet below still stands. It's not that he's going to return this season, which is how this is being viewed.
Yeah, it's basically saying, hey, at least it's not a Nick Chubb injury.
Right.
Like, it's not going to be one of those ones where Nick Chubb is still out.
But isn't that what we talked about? That was like, okay, he needs more tests because, good God, this might be a really damaged knee.
Agreed.
He might have torn up 2 or 3 ligaments, and this thing, he may not be healthy next year, halfway through the season, like Nick Chubb. Like, this might be an issue. Okay, well, if that was a thought at one point, and they say, well, actually, it's not as significant. Okay, not as significant is a relative term. Not as significant of a 12-month absence could be a 6-month absence.
Yeah.
Which is what it may be. It seems like that's what most people think. I think the Chiefs feel like this guy is going to be done for the season. And as Field Yates said yesterday, because I asked him, do you sense there's optimism? And he said, optimism isn't the word I'd use. There's holding out hope that he won't be lost for the season. But there's a pretty decent understanding that he is. And that was yesterday that Field Yates put that before he's gone under the surgery today. We'll find out what they have to do, and we'll get a better idea. I'm approaching this, Sterling, as he's done for the year, and if they get good news that maybe he can return in late January, great.
Yes.
You know, that's all. Found money.
Maybe it's the Hollywood Brown, or you're back for the playoffs.
Yeah,
like you're done for the regular season. But what the Vinny Pasquantino method?
That's
It's come on now.
Yeah, like Mark Andrews. If they go to the AFC Championship game, Mark Andrews could return. And he did. And he was able to come back. They didn't go to the Super Bowl, but it was like, all right, this injury is significant, and he's probably out for the year. But depending on recovery and how deep the Ravens go into the postseason, he could return.
My thing is just get healthy before the start of next season.
Right, yeah.
Just wait for that.
Yeah.
And
you don't even have to be really fully healthy. You could be healthy enough to not be put on the PUP list.
Sure.
But then when you get suspended for the first, 4 to 6 to 8 games, then, you'll be fully and much more recovered at that point and ready to go. So, I mean, we're 4 weeks in. It'll be 5 weeks. And then, whenever they get Charles Omenihu back.
I want to bring up just a little New York versus Kansas City
I
situation,
love it.
right?
Let's
Because
do it.
I find it's very funny.
Let's bring it up.
Because it does feel like, the Royals are lucky and the Yankees have all this and they should be. I'm sitting here going, do they have amnesia? were they all, is 2010, 2009 the last year these people remember? Like, going back, they have 0 championships in the last decade. 0. New York. Football, and they have more teams. Football and baseball.
And basketball. You want to throw in NBA.
And we can throw again. Royals.
I'll be honest, I don't know about the hockey.
The Kansas City Kings still have the exact same amount as the New York Knicks.
Somebody have to tell me about the hockey of the Islanders.
So why are they acting like KC is like this little brother to New York when in fact Kansas City has 4 rings?
Yeah.
Yankees and Mets and Giants and Jets and Knicks. Have 0. I went back 2009. Last time the Yankees won a World Series. Here's some movies that were popular. The Hangover. Not
The
2,
Hangover 1.
not 3.
The Hangover 1.
Mall Cop. Paul Blart. Not 2. Not I don't know.
That was before he was Sean Payton.
That's
how long ago that was.
These are the movies that were popular. These were horrible movies.
Was Mall Cop ever popular though? That's a great question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's bad. A lot of the other movies I don't even remember. Boom Boom Pow. Boom Boom Pow.
Was a song or a movie?
I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas.
Oh,
Black
tonight's
Eyed
gonna
Peas.
be a good night.
Remember the song You Found Me by The Fray?
Yeah. Sure.
Yes, that was it.
Yes.
The Birthday Sex that feels like it's been around for 30 years by Jeremiah.
Good for you.
Right Round. You Spin My Head Right Round.
Which I think of that and it's immediately The Hangover.
Miley Cyrus was still doing the like girl pop stuff before she went off the deep end. It was The Climb. Linkin Park was putting out new music. That's the last time the Yankees won, and they're acting like the Royals over here.
Dude,
and then the Giants won in 2012. I was in high school.
Well, you could have been in high school last year. We don't know.
I'm 30. I'm a man. I'm 30.
That's right.
Someone tweeted a picture of Netflix's homepage as well the last time, and it was still the mail-to-order DVDs.
I was going to say, did you get DVDs in the mail?
Yep.
Oh, that's amazing.
So why are the Yankees? Sorry, New York. You're little bro.
Because anytime a city like Kansas City wins, it's like oh, that's cute. Good for you. Oh, that's cute. Good for you. But it doesn't necessarily count in the grand scheme because you're not like us.
Mall Cop.
But in reality, they not like us. So not the, but still, you're wearing that thick jersey in July in Kansas City, standing in the outfield.
July and August.
In August, yes.
Sweating bullets.
Oh, my goodness, man. Now they're so thin, you can just see everybody sweating through them.
Yeah, it's ugh.
That one, it soaked up the sweat, but it's so thick you couldn't see it.
Right, and I mean, it didn't, a lot of those guys can't wear undershirts now because it's just so tight and thin, and, then you could wear the undershirts, you sweat through them, you just go in, you put another undershirt on, you trade it out, and it never really showed through your jersey. But these were hot, man.
It's like an Irish sweater.
Yeah.
Like that's like a thick Scottish sweater right there. That's
it's like carrying an actual sheep on your shoulders.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I'm a man of my word. I said I would wear it in here. I did. So, hey, interesting thing Saturday. I want to talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
So this past Saturday, we have a church retreat. It's like a vision summit for my church, and it happens to be up at the Elms in Excelsior Springs, the historic hotel.
Yeah.
And we got there early with some friends, and I'm sitting in the lobby, and all of a sudden my wife and my buddy's wife say, oh, look, there's bridesmaids around there, and there's a wedding going on. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool. It's a great place for it. It was a beautiful day outside for pictures and the beautiful hotel. And like 20 minutes later, all of a sudden, here comes Sterling walking through with all his dudes, and they're getting ready to go out for pictures and all that. And I see him like, no way. I knew he was getting married. I had no idea it was this weekend. And he gives me that look like, oh, hey, there's Les. And then he gives me another look like, wait a minute, I didn't invite you. What are you doing here?
I didn't expect to see you here.
Because I didn't invite you. And I'm like, you know what? I guess it's my own little weird version of the Wedding Crashers.
You know what?
I crashed his wedding.
Should have just said, I'm Jason's +1. Right, his wife couldn't make it, so he called me last minute.
Dude,
Let's party.
I couldn't have handled you,
Mrs.
the
Anderson.
+1. Mrs. Anderson's too sweet, too kind, too beautiful for me to substitute for her. You just take your solo and
you
go.
would have had the chicken. I got the filet. You would have had the chicken though, but I went ahead and ate both, so that's fine.
Perfect.
It didn't go to waste.
There were a lot of people in our group that were like really impressed with the white tuxedo coat that you had on.
you.
It looked
You
good.
were styling, man. You
See the
looked
shoes?
really
Did you see
good.
the velvet loafers with the
velvet
marquee?
loafers. Yep, I saw that too.
Embroidered.
Saw that early, as if you were like sticking your leg out, like, "Hey, check this out," without actually saying it. But I mean, the hotel, everything was great. Your bride looked gorgeous, by the way. I don't know what she's thinking, but okay.
I know, but now
you
she
did
came
it.
back out now. Now she's
she's in.
she's hooked.
She's hooked now. But yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful wedding, beautiful day. So you guys got married at a cool place. So, kidding aside, congratulations, man.
Thank you, Les.
You're in it, man.
Thank you. I
That's
appreciate that.
awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
It's fun seeing you.
He did tell me earlier today that his next wedding you're invited to.
All right. Well,
So you will be at that one.
Oh, the
That's-
next one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. You've
I
made
sure
the
hope
list
not.
for that one.
I sure hope
They're not
not.
going to invite him to your next. Wow.
That's bad
He's
news.
right here. You hope he's not invited to your next one? Good night.
I hope you aren't either.
I'm not coming to your next one, believe me. You should, if you're going to elope. Or how about this? Don't.
Yeah, the people that get married like 4 times, like, what do you do? At some point, you're just like,
to go to the courthouse at some point.
So
I don't know. Or stop.
in a shameless segue,
Yes.
How about the marriage last night of us all getting to watch 2 TVs?
It's great.
The Chiefs and the Royals at the same time.
fantastic,
Man, it was a
man.
great night in Kansas City. Yes,
I
Dylan,
actually
oh,
only got to
baby.
watch one TV.
Well,
you got the full experience of being out at Arrowhead and
Yeah.
watching that while watching the Royals
in
on
a
TV.
suite, by the way, so I don't want to hear it. No complaints.
It was. There's no complaints. It was lovely.
Yeah. What a night.
But my little man and I were sitting there watching both games and trying to, like, the volume going back and forth depending on what was that commercial break. But typically the volume, I was surprised that, because the Royals I had on the bigger TV and the Chiefs were on the, smaller TV than the bigger one. But the volume, I thought I would put it on the Chiefs because the Royals were. It ended up being on the volume on the Royals most of the time, and that includes having to listen to Bob Costas. So it was still on the Royals. I was surprised at how often the volume was on the Royals game. I was also a little. I didn't know how I would go about watching it, but I was surprised how intent and how much focus was specifically just watching Royals and looking back up and missing a couple plays of what happened in the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be constant back and forth, but. Obviously, one game was more important than another last night with the Royals winning, but it was a great night that both of them won. But yeah, I was very much invested in the Royals game, obviously, as a lot of people were. But I went in thinking, Les, the TV's going to have the Royals, the side TV's going to have the Chiefs, but they don't have the volume on there, so I can watch Royals maybe a little intently and then listen. But no, it was almost like 70-30, just focused on the Royals last night.
Yeah, man, it was exciting, and I mean, so many storylines. I've been listening to you guys all morning, and Bob Costas can retire yesterday. I'm done listening to him. I think, it's hearing Jazz Chisholm say they were just lucky and all that.
What did he say, Dylan? Clip number 8. Can you play what Jazz Chisholm? I forgot what Jazz said about last night's games with the Royals tying and even up the series.
How different does the series feel now after Game 2 compared to after Game 1?
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, I don't feel like anybody feels any different, We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky.
You were saying, Les?
What about Game 1 and missed opportunities? I mean, the Yankees were lucky to win that game.
That was skill.
I mean, if you look at it that way, in hearing that, I just feel like this is Jazz Chisholm's attempt to get back into the spotlight after being on the cover of a video game did not work out well for him. That's all I'll say about that. I mean, Jazz who? I mean, if his name was John Chisholm, would anybody be even okay? You hit a home run, a meaningless home run off Ursig, which was, it was great. It was an inside 99-mile-an-hour fastball, severely talented. Way to go in the Bandbox Stadium pop-up that is Kauffman, or that is Yankee Stadium. When at Kauffman, it would have been a flyout. So, you know what? That's fine. Dylan and I were talking earlier. Bring that rivalry back. Go ahead, do your thing.
Well, also, like, you can't say that they got lucky when your home run in the 9th inning still would have required somebody else to get on base for them to tie it up with a home run.
Absolutely.
You were down 3 runs in the 9th inning. That's not just
two more
luck.
guys had to be on when they
when
got
he
one more guy.
When he hit the home run, you needed a bloop and a blast at that point, which I was getting pretty nervous when Gleyber Torres came up because, just a few hours before, Emmanuel Clase that has given up, I think
nothing.
What was the stat that when that home run left the yard, that Clase had given up 5 runs all year and he gave up 3 on that swing?
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is playoff baseball.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen. That happened, and I'm like, just find a way. Find a way. I don't care how you do it. Just ground ball, pop up, fly ball to the wall. I don't care what you do. Just get this third out and get out of there. Okay, great. Whew. Because, if Clase is going to give up a home run to Kerry Carpenter, then Torres can hit a home run in that sandbox.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I feel so lucky that we won that game, especially because Bobby Witt and Vinny didn't even contribute and haven't been able to contribute yet. Now coming back, the two of them are probably going to go 10 for 2 and have 50 RBIs in 2 games. I mean, I just feel so lucky that other people are hitting.
Just
it's like
low.
It's like
Only 50
Irish.
RBIs
Only I'm not Irish. I don't know. Dylan?
So the Emmanuel Clase stat was from Jeff Passan. He had allowed 5 earned runs in 6 months during the regular season, 3 on 1 swing.
One swing to Kerry Carpenter. Also, Kerry Carpenter, the hardest hit ball of his career was that swing on Emmanuel Clase, 111 miles an hour off the bat.
I will say, it makes some sense because you're getting 102 miles an hour coming in.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
So the exit.
But he also had to hit it middle.
Yeah,
he had to have the connected swing, timing it up.
That thing.
And that wasn't a fastball though. That was a hang. That was a hang and breaking ball.
Okay, sorry, a 94 mile an hour slider from Clase.
Yeah. Physics are physics, my brother.
Yeah. But he still had to, barrel, and time it to where his weight transfer is swinging and connecting with the ball at the same time for 111 miles an hour exit velocity with a wood bat is just kind of stupid.
It is.
What's hilarious to me,
slightly, people would be more surprised if a meteor hit the stadium than that happened.
Yeah, honestly, like if I woke up with my head sewn to the carpet tomorrow, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's just because the Royals are in the playoffs for the first time in a decade or 9 years, if you want to do the breakdown there, right? Has this been the most entertaining playoff baseball in how long?
Well,
it feels like
9 years.
Well, no, but no. I'm not saying just for the Royals.
Yeah.
I'm saying it seems like so many games are close. The Royals-Yankees first game, even Royals-Yankees second game, it came down at least to the 9th inning. You're talking about Clase giving up that 3-run shot, the home run right there. Phillies are winning on a walk-off. The Mets-Phillies series has been back and forth the entire time.
Padres and Dodgers, or Machado and everybody in the Dodgers
Everyone.
dugout yelling at each other, the fans and the Padres.
When I did my funniest, I didn't know that Profar was like faking the fans out, like he didn't catch the home run and letting them all, like they even threw up the home run on the scoreboard.
I saw that live.
Mookie Betts was around second jogging before he saw that Profar had the ball.
They had the home run. I was watching on TV and they had the home run. It was live. They had the home run. Mookie Betts home run won, like in the playoffs. And Profar get into it, and then Fernando Tatis with a ridiculous catch in right field, chirping with those guys and getting stuff thrown at him.
And then he gets a ball thrown at him the next night.
Yeah, like
Fernando Tatis.
But like, and again, maybe it's just because the Royals are in it, and so I'm paying extra close attention to the playoffs. But this just seems so entertaining. The matchups are phenomenal. They're classic matchups. Midwest Royals versus the big bad Yankees.
David Goliath, baby.
Padres and Dodgers who hate each other. You have
Tigers, Guardians,
Tigers,
in the
Guardians,
division.
and you have Mets and Phillies. Like this is awesome.
Yes.
Every division series is a divisional rivalry, except for one of the older rivalries in the majors.
Goes back to the 70s.
Is the only one that isn't.
Let me ask you this, Les, as a former player, for those that did not see it, Manny Machado and who was it for? Is it Flaherty for the Dodgers?
It was Flaherty.
Yeah, Flaherty. So Flaherty gets him in the first inning and says, "Go sit down, mother bleeper," to Manny Machado. There's some clear tension going on. They hit Fernando Tatis, and Flaherty's like, "Why would I try to hit him at that point? Like, I'm not trying to put him on. I came inside. He didn't get out of the way, and so it hit him. All right." And so then Manny Machado after the game says, you hit our best player. Shohei Ohtani is the best player in the game. If we hit him, no, we try to get him out. That's what we do. We just try to get the guys out. But in like the fifth inning or so, there was Yu Darvish was warming up. They threw down to second. The ball was in the dirt. Yu Darvish asked for a new ball. Manny Machado was throwing the ball because he was, they throw it around. He's getting ready to give it to Yu Darvish. He asked for a new ball. Machado turns around and fires it pretty hard on the ground into the Dodgers dugout. He didn't throw it in the dugout. He rolled it, but it was a pretty significant, had some pace on it. And Dave Roberts, after the game was over, was talking about how jarring it was and unsettling that, that happened. Flaherty was like, yeah, that's why because they came back from commercial break and they caught the end of Flaherty and Machado going back and forth. And Flaherty's like, yeah, he threw a ball into our dugout. You've got Padres fans that now have seen the video that are like, oh, no, Dave Roberts, I'm so glad he's safe by seeing this ball. As a former player, what's that? Because that certainly feels like some disrespect of like, you can just toss the ball anywhere. You chucked it pretty good into the ground ball, but into the dugout of the Dodgers where there are other people just standing there. That ain't just oh, please, he rolled the ball over there. Like, that was meant to be disrespectful.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was never a safety issue. I mean, even if you're like, it's Manny Machado. He's been controversial since day one in the league. He always has a chip.
He played under Dave Roberts, too.
Right, exactly.
He's got a chip on his shoulders. He always has, and he's who he is, and you give respect for his talent, but he'll fight anybody at any time, whether he's right or wrong. It doesn't matter. And so when he fired it in there, that was an opportunity for him, not just a situation that happened in the moment. So, Dave Roberts saying that, it was unsettling and jarring. That's not the Dave Roberts that played the game. I mean, let's go. That's the politically correct answer. He's trying to make Manny look bad, whatever. That's more for the fans than anything, but I would be ticked. I mean, in our dugout, you do that to Jeff Montgomery and Mark Gubiza, who's in the. I mean, Montgomery would have beat you out, and Montgomery was a little guy.
Yeah,
he'd have beat everybody.
They might have cleared the bases.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, before guys got thrown out and suspended.
Yeah,
when it's Nettles and George Brett fighting at third base.
That's what I was going to say.
When it's Hal McRae tackling dudes at second base.
Yeah. What if Nettles did that between innings and threw it in there, whether it was at George Brett or not? What would have happened?
Benches would have cleared.
Even if it was Game 7 of the World Series.
Yep.
But here's the difference, though. The umpires back then wouldn't have thrown anybody out.
Exactly.
Agreed.
They would have fought. Get your fighting in, separate it, and
like
an hour later
it was hockey back then. It was like, all right, you can go and have a 2-minute penalty, and then you're back.
Till one of them gets, but they'd let them fight till one of them gets an advantage, and then they'd break them up. And
you're on the ground now. Stop.
Okay, yeah. Now, so nobody gets spiked in the jugular or something like that. So, yeah, Machado was just looking to do something. It's all gamesmanship, but in the end,
he was pissed they hit Tatis.
Absolutely, and you know what? He's sticking up for his guy. Now he shouldn't have thrown it in the dugout, but he did. And so it is what it is. But here's what we get as fans out of it.
Yes.
A 1-1 series that's going back to San Diego. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Tonight at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, by the way.
Believe it. Well done. So remember the old Wii baseball? So I don't know if you guys saw this. You saw this post where there's a post where a pitch is thrown and it's a Wii hitter.
Oh, I didn't see
and
this.
The announcer is coming in from behind, and it's Tatis, and hits a home run, and it's just a bomb to left field, and it says it's a blank rectangular screen. It says blank you, and So and that post came up pretty quick too, not too long after it. But the point is that it's great for baseball, man.
Yeah.
It's just a rivalry.
Well, and tomorrow, I think the Royals fans will let Jazz know what they think of him.
I think that
some Robinson Cano treatment coming Jazz Chisholm's way tomorrow.
And what do you think Chisholm's going to do? He's not going to fold underneath the pressure. He's just going to tip his hat and like, hey, how you doing? How you doing, Kansas City?
Because Cano didn't fold either under the pressure of getting.
I think
booed
Soto
the
might get
time.
it as well. I think Soto could also receive a little boo birds.
Yeah,
maybe.
he could. Well. By the way, Yankees fans, like, I understand them booing Yuli Gurriel.
Yeah.
Right? Yankees, Astros, all of that stuff.
Sure.
Why were they so loud booing Bobby?
Because
he's finishing second in MVP behind Aaron Judge. Like, he's not beating Aaron Judge for MVP.
It's the jealousy part of it,
right? Every time Bobby came up, there were loud boos. I'm like,
and can we not forget that in Major League history in the postseason, who has the highest strikeout percentage for postseason at bats?
Probably Aaron Judge.
It's Aaron Judge at 35%.
It's been rough in this series with guys on base and opportunities that he hasn't come through.
Yeah. So boo Bobby all you want. We'll take every bit of it.
Yep.
I like your old point of the dudes fighting. The Royals need Kyle Farnsworth. Just add Kyle. You should be able to have.
They got Tommy Pham. I mean,
it's true. They got Tommy Pham.
I'm wondering what Tommy Pham's thoughts are going to be on Jazz Chisholm, because Tommy Pham probably knows about him now, but when he was interviewed last night, he didn't know that Jazz Chisholm said they got lucky.
I think right now Tommy Pham might be like walking around the Yankees hotel here in Kansas City in the parking lot, pacing, waiting for him to come out. That's not confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Les Norman is being facetious.
I don't know. We don't know. Les Norman is giving at least his thoughts of something that could potentially be taking place right now. Something that wouldn't surprise us if it were taking place. By the way, how about Cole Reagans and Sam Long playing catch at Central Park on Sunday? Did you see that?
I did not see that, but I love it. I think that's awesome.
Quatrero was asked about that last night, and he was like, well, we told him we weren't going to Yankee Stadium, so feel free to some guys went to plays, some guys just sort of chilled. Sam Long and Cole Reagans went and played long toss from 100 feet. I guess it's not necessarily a long toss, but because Cole Reagans said, I got to get my regular work in, and we're not going to be at the stadium. So he and Sam Long went to Central Park and played catch. And he joked, he was like, well, nobody recognized us. So we were just two guys out there playing catch.
Two dudes playing catch.
I do wonder, like, for people walking around, if they see these guys in their 20s and 30s that are out there playing catch at Central Park, like, hey, cool guy, how about old boy over there playing catch at Central Park? There, cool man. All right,
yeah, big gulp, huh?
Yeah.
All right, see you later.
Cool, really firing that thing in there. All right, cool. Yeah, oh, tough guy is throwing it really fast out here in Central Park. Yeah, you're trying to impress everybody. Oh, that guy's starting tomorrow night. Interesting.
So I will say, if one of these two games in Kansas City gets out of hand either way, Soto's going to wear one. I think Soto's going to wear one.
Might wear one.
Well, yeah. But I mean,
Jazz might wear one.
You could see Cole Reagan staring at him after the walk in
the first inning.
Dylan is a lover of rivalry, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. He loves that.
I liked it because Soto's earned it. Anyone else on the Yankees has not done anything in the postseason to earn the respect or the ability to be staring anyone down or puffing their chest out on a walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Soto has, though, and that's what Soto does. You're right, Dylan, but like, and also it's what Soto does. It's not like he's doing it because it's the Royals, because he has beef with them. It's
Carlos Rodon doesn't walk around strutting and going, it's on, boys, and wagging his tongue when he's out there. He doesn't do that. That was fake juice by Carlos Rodon, and it came back to bite him.
And Selvey, thank you for rounding third and wagging your tongue as well. Timely. But I feel like if it gets out of hand, he'll definitely wear one.
Who is it? Zerpa?
Soto.
No, I know.
Who's going to hit him?
Yeah, would it be Zerpa, you think, because lefty, and he throws 99?
He's probably, if it's getting out of hand, I don't think Zerpa's in the game.
Yeah.
But they only have 11 pitchers.
It might be Daniel Lynch.
It could be Lynch.
Could be Singer.
Yeah.
It's a short series.
I'll tell you what, if it is in that situation, and Singer's not afraid to do it. And Singer has good movement on his fastball, so when it hits, it'll spin more and it'll create a bigger bruise.
Corkscrew.
Optimal pain?
I am not condoning
Les,
it. I'm just
bad.
saying.
Come on, Les.
As a guy that's been drilled many times, who's been hit by Kerry Wood on the elbow with a 99er.
Yeah, Les is the only one that's ever thought something like this.
Yeah,
no one in Major League Baseball has ever done this before.
Yeah, let's get Bluma's opinion and ask Bluma about something like that. Bluma would be the guy like, yes, dig in.
Or Randy Johnson.
Here you come.
Yeah, this is a longer clip. Can we play clip number 7? This is Tommy Pham. It's about a minute and a half or so, but there is a part in here that I wanted to specifically ask Les Norman about that Tommy brought up in talking with ESPN Radio last night after the game was over on the field. But here's that interview and Tommy Pham on the field last night on ESPN Radio.
Hey, Tommy, Carlos Rodon looked really good early, first 3 innings. You guys got to him there in the 4th. How were you guys able to get him there and put up that 4th spot?
His stuff was a little sharp today. His slider was sharp, his changeup was good, his heater was coming out really nice. I think, in the first inning he showed me all his pitches, so that kind of works to my advantage, when you're seeing the second and third time through. So, it's no easy task. He threw me a mistake, and I got lucky.
What happens there when you fall behind 1-2? Are you looking for anything in particular? What's your mindset there?
I missed that heater up. Then he got me to chase the slider. Once you fall behind, it's basically grind mode. Get him in the zone and try to get the guy in. Massey didn't come through for us, and when he was walking back, I told him I'll pick him up.
What is it about you in October, man? It seems like you're bouncing around the league, and every time you're here in October, you're coming through in the clutch, coming up with big hits. What is it about you in this month?
I don't know, man. I'm off to a slow start, but I feel like it's coming. I'm starting to put together some good at bats. Take away one of those strikeouts today, and I had a productive day. I kind of got screwed my last at bat on some calls, but I feel like it's coming.
And lastly, you guys split here in New York, going back to Kansas City. How are you guys feeling right now with Game 3 in a couple days?
It's no easy task. That's a good team over there. We're going to have to play our game. Pitching and defense wins it, and timely hitting. So let's stick to that.
Yeah, his last at bat, that 3-0 pitch was ball 4. And it was one of those. I'm going to widen the strike zone a little bit on 3-0. Just it's a strike. He ends up taking the next 2 as well. That ended up being, I think, closer to being strikes. But one thing that I was curious and asking you about is Tommy Pham said, he was sharp, his fastball, whatever. He said, but in the second inning, my first at bat, he showed me all of his pitches. And I went back and looked, and Tommy Pham struck out on 3 pitches. Slider, fastball, changeup were the 3 pitches. And he said, the next time around, I had just seen those exact pitches. And so I missed the fastball, and so I wanted to make up for that. What do you think of that, Rodon, 3 pitches, shows him all his pitches, and then the next time around, Tommy Pham's a little more ready for Rodon's, whether it be slider or – what did he hit? Tommy Pham got a hold of the slider for the single.
Yeah, you when you see all those as a hitter that especially is seasoned, you're in the playoffs, you've been in the big leagues a long time, it's that millisecond of spin, and you have that really short memory that you remember the last at bat, and you remember how guys pitch you, and so that's a huge advantage. And sometimes you have to sacrifice an at bat in your first at bat to get the confidence to come back and know that, there's that spin, and that one little snap of the finger millisecond, that's going to be a fastball away because you just see it. And then, last pitch, he threw me this in this count. And so then you look for it, but you don't guess. You just look for it, but if it's something else, you can adjust. And that's where the shorter stroke, the wider stance, the more hands, less body comes in. And so you can be disciplined as you go. And that's why the second time around, third time around, averages are higher generally because you've seen the guy. You've seen all of his pitches. And so a pitcher's going to have the advantage that first at bat, but a wily veteran like Tommy Pham who's been there, done that, and he might struggle a little bit with confidence. I don't know, maybe. But he just believes in himself. He's also seen it, and so you're able to hold up more. You're able to go after a pitch that you can handle, but it's a huge advantage the second and third time through the order when you're facing a guy.
It is just interesting, too, because he showed Tommy Pham all 3 of his pitches, and he is the only player Well, I mean, Rodon has a curveball too that he throws less often than the fastball, slider, changeup. But the fastball, slider, changeup, Tommy Pham is the only player that he had shown all three of those pitches to the first time they're at bat.
It's a mistake.
And
yeah,
and
thank
Tommy Pham
you.
mentioned that. I thought that was pretty interesting. He's like, well, he showed me all his pitches at my first at bat, and so I
trust
used
me,
that to my advantage.
Rodon's pitching coach will be talking to him about that as well. You know, early on, maybe you don't need that, or maybe if you do
outs,
throw a
on.
bad one.
Well, so it's 2 outs, Massey at first. 2 outs, Massey at first, and you've got him an 0-2 count, 2 pitches. Do you need to show him the slider at that point to strike out? Okay, well you threw the slider the next at bat, and he put it into right center for a base hit.
And the zone was a little bit goofy last night, a little bit. I mean, it was a little lopsided-y, which again didn't make any difference. I'm not whining about that, but in that case, if you still have a pitch that you haven't thrown a guy and you got him 0-2, then you throw something that you've already thrown, but you throw it off the plate. You might get a strike. When you throw 98, 99 miles an hour, you're going to have a better chance, a fastball up in the zone or away, because anything eye level that moves a little bit that hard is hard to lay off when you're in the hole. 2-2, no. 3-2, 2-1, 3-1, not as much because you've got something, you know, if you don't, you don't. But when your back's against the wall and there's something high level that is not inside, you're going to tend to probably swing at it just because you see it so well. And so if he'd have thrown that, it might have been different. But you know what? The Royals were lucky, right?
That's right. I thought it was funny, too. Jazz hadn't even said that they got lucky when Pham was like, well, you know, I saw his pitch. I put the bat on it, you know, with 2 strikes and got lucky and, you know, ball fell in and like.
Maybe that's why Jazz said it, because, you know.
He heard Tommy Pham. He was walking by like, oh, yeah, they did get lucky. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling with Les Norman. Breaking the Norm, presented by TruckMovers.com, First Federal Bank of Kansas City, and Biesterveld and Crook. Yankees tomorrow, Seth Lugo versus Clark Schmidt. 6:08 first pitch. You can hear it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Series tied 1 apiece. The National League Game 3s going on today. ESPN Kansas City's got you at 4 o'clock with Phillies and Mets. And then Dodgers-Padres, 8 o'clock tonight right here on Sports Radio 810. That is after Arrowhead Pride with Pete Sweeney and Jack Johnson. Let's hear from Matt Quattrero. Can play clip number 5. Matt Quattrero in Game 1 went to Angel Zerpa, and he wasn't able to come through. He has been really good as of late, and he was good in that series against Baltimore. Well, he went back to Zerpa yet again, same situation, only this time was different. Matt Quattrero was asked about the decision to go to Angel Zerpa there in the 5th or 6th, whatever it is, but decision to go to Angel Zerpa when they brought him in.
We put Zerpa in that spot the other day because we believe in him. It didn't work out that way, but today, you saw more of what we would have expected. Now, struck out Soto, that doesn't happen all that often. We're hopeful to get him out. The double play was enormous. The defense tonight was outstanding all the way around. Tommy made a few nice plays. The double plays were huge. But that you don't ever expect you're going to keep a team like that scoreless out of the bullpen, but to keep them in check, our guys, that was more representative of what our guys can do than what the other night was.
Before Irsay got in the game, the Royals bullpen went 4 innings and allowed 3 base runners. There was some, consternation over the decisions that Quattrero made on Saturday in New York. And he went right back to, this is our plan for the series. This is what we're doing. Guys have to come through. And credit Angel Zerpa for coming through and doing what he needed to do. And John Schreiber coming through and Chris Bubich doing what he needed to do, gave up a couple of hits. And then the offense, putting the 4 runs on the board in the 4th inning. And, if you're going to give up a home run as a closer, hey, leadoff home run when you're up 4-1 ain't too bad. Ain't the worst thing in the world.
Not at all. And wasn't there one out, though, when he did it, too? I thought there was one out, or was it the leadoff?
It was a leadoff.
Was it a leadoff?
I thought Jazz led off with the home run. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean,
no,
still,
it was a leadoff.
But in solo, too, either way, is fine. Yep. If Matt Quattrero doesn't get Manager of the Year, there's got to be something going on. I mean, 106 losses to what he's done. And not just the fact of the win-loss, but the way he's managed this team. Yes, getting them into the playoffs after 106 losses, but the everyday approach to how he handles the media with grace and a good attitude, and just the steady leadership that you've seen from that guy. I mean, it's like I want to pay him to talk to my kids for 2 hours. To sit in a room. I mean, just what he's done has just been truly amazing.
And the decisions he's made so far in this postseason. Like, we were wondering about putting Michael Massey at the leadoff spot. Like, Tommy Pham had been leading off, and then you throw in Michael Massey. And then against the Yankees, on Monday night, you put in Maikel Garcia leading off. And you start Garrett Hampson instead of Kyle Isbell. And it's like, all right. Well, all those guys did was go 6 for 7. Hampson went 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored, and Maikel Garcia went 4 for 5 with an RBI and a stolen base.
Yeah. Production, baby.
Yeah, and honestly, when the lineup came out, those were the 2 names that were discussed the most of Garcia's leading off, Hampson in the game, in center. Okay. Yeah, it's a game you have to have it, and Garcia's your leadoff hitter. And then he struck out in the first. It was like, see, I told you. But he's pulled the right strings so far in this postseason, and credit where credit is due, man. And also the bullpen has been fantastic.
Yeah, he is. Whether you do or not, he has more than earned the respect and the trust of this fan base. So it's been a pleasure, and the fact that our ownership hired him too, and let's not on the field, but let's also talk about the job J.J. Piccolo has done in the GM spot as well. I saw him at an event not too long ago at a fundraiser it was at the stadium, and he was standing there with his wife. I'm like, hey, man, congratulations. This has been amazing. You're having a great season. Good luck for that playoff push. And yet, and he's humble. He's like, oh, we have a great manager and a great team and all that. And so it's a really good formula of what they've put together.
Last night, Tommy Pham, Yuli Gurriel, 2 hits, an RBI, 2 runs scored, and Lucas Irsay got the save. None of those guys were on the team when the season started.
That's right.
Those guys were on the team since August 1st.
Well, just the difference from this team from last year. We can talk all we want about the record, which is obviously so impressive, but there's a reason behind it. It's not just that Bobby went from a really good player to an MVP type of player.
Yeah.
That's great and all. That's huge, but just the additions of everyone. The Michael Wacha signing. Obviously, Cole Reagan's for Aroldis Chapman. That gets all the noise, but I think Michael Wacha's almost as important in the turnaround. Seth Lugo getting the opportunity to become a legitimate starter here in Kansas. The faith in these guys. But it wasn't just the blind faith in guys from AAA who are young saying, well, if these 12 things go right, look, this might be a decent team. Heck, they even overhauled the bullpen, and I think going into this year, I didn't think the bullpen was going to be great, but I go, look, they got Will Smith, they got Chris Stratton, they got Nick Anderson. They have guys who've been here and done it before. That didn't even work out, and they're still finding ways to improve by 40 games from last year to this year. Like, it's just insane, the difference, and a lot of it is going with the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
All these teams are scared to pay that middle money for veterans. It's either if you're a superstar, you get top dollar, or we're going to try and go with young guys, controllable guys. The Royals said, fine, we'll take a shot on a market that we think is underutilized right now. The middle guys, the Hunter Renfroes of the world, the Tommy Phans, the Michael Wachas, the Seth Lugos, and now look what happened.
Yeah.
They also got criticized for trading David Sandlin for John Schreiber.
I remember that. And I go, you hope David Sandlin turns into John Schreiber.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad that John Schreiber's on the team and not David Sandlin
let's
in
see
Omaha.
Let's see what, you know what, let's look what David Sandlin is up to. Let's just go ahead and just...
You look for that. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll give you the update on David Sandlin coming up next. I said earlier in the show, Les, and I'll see if you agree or disagree, but if there are 3 games remaining in this series, I think the Royals, in 2 of the 3, have the pitching advantage.
Agreed.
I think they have it tomorrow and definitely on Saturday. We'll see about Garrett Cole and Michael Wacha at Kauffman Stadium on Thursday, but at least 2 of the 3, I think they've got the pitching advantage.
Completely agree. I said this when we talked about it last week. I think that I picked the Royals in 5. I think it's going to go back to New York. I mean, just out of respect for Garrett Cole and the Yankees. I mean, it's a good team, and just because you want to win doesn't mean you can. I mean, we have to use some intelligence in how this whole thing matches up and how it's going to work, and I just feel like the advantage, as much as I love Michael Wacha, I mean, if he goes up against anybody else, I'm probably going to take Wacha. But it's Garrett Cole. And so, it's the only thing that makes me think the Royals could take it in 4 is because now we're playing in a real big boy stadium versus the little K up, behind left center.
I'm sorry, but they are too big for the little K because my son is too big for the little K. So they would have to definitely be. If Aaron Judge gets to hit on the little K, I'm annoyed. I'm mad. My son wanted to hit.
The way those mushy orange balls, all you got to do is throw him soft away, and Aaron Judge can play in the little K and continue to do what he's been doing and striking out.
Right now, it seems like if they throw him anything,
But again,
that's not fair because they've been executing their pitches against Aaron Judge.
Absolutely. You got to give credit instead of the lack of credit. Rather light your candle than curse your darkness. So I still think it's the Royals in 5.
Interesting. I went Royals in 4.
That's what I want.
Yeah. But then I said on Monday that on Friday after we picked Royals in 4, I'm like, you know what? I said Royals in 4 because I didn't think they would win at Yankee Stadium Game 5. That's such a big deal. But I'm like, you know what? It's Cole Reagan's on the mound, and I'll take my chances with Reagan's in Game 5. And also, by the way, they won a game where Reagan's didn't look all that good.
That's right.
He didn't have his command. He didn't look like he did against Baltimore. I'll take my chances that you get locked in ace Cole Reagan, the Cole train on Saturday if it gets there to Yankee Stadium against Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, and let's not forget that first pitch, I think, in the 4th inning, let's give Salvi some credit at just how much of a veteran and how smart he is. That first pitch, Cole Reagan's wasn't hurt, but he called timeout, went out there, but you could see him take his finger and do the turn like, hey, get somebody else up.
Yep.
He's not how he normally is. Let's cut this out sooner than later. So Salvi gets a big piece of managing, kind of being that second manager, second pitching coach, and understanding it. Just understanding the game, knowing his pitchers, going out and telling him, talking to him. That's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
He's been awesome for this team, and he's in his prime, as Sterling has said.
I've said it, for a catcher, 34 is your prime. Everyone knows this.
You got prime Salvi.
Your knees have never been feeling better as a catcher. Your arm is outstanding, and your bat speed is still ascending. Everyone knows this. 34 for a catcher is your prime.
I'm picking up on your sarcasm.
Oh, he's serious. He's dead serious about it for some reason. I'm not sure. And everybody knows that, for a DH, 35 is past your prime for Giancarlo Stanton because his legs and knees and everything do not feel the same that they did. But
very, very strong use of Goodwill Hunting this morning, fellas.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well done.
I appreciate that.
Well done.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Yes.
It is not his fault that he hit into a double play.
I saw that whole Sean and the characters Robin Williams. I saw the whole thing play out. Excellent use of your time this morning.
Is he the slowest player you've ever seen?
With that kind of body type? Yes. Absolutely.
He's not Benji Molina.
The guy got hit.
Molina.
The guy got hit in the face with a 300-mile-an-hour fastball and survived it. Yet he can't run down to first in less than 6 seconds.
He has the fastest bat speed in Major League Baseball.
Maybe he should run down in his arms. Then maybe he should try. Maybe he should try the wheelbarrow race.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but he's really slow.
All right. Next time we talk to you, Les, we talking about the American League Championship Series, and if we are, how many games for this?
Oh man,
is it
I
4
still
or
think
5?
this one 5. Is the next series best of 7 or 5?
I don't mean how many games for the ALCS. I mean, if we're talking about ALCS, how many games did the Royals win in for the Yankees?
Gosh,
did they win in 4? Or did they win in 5?
I want 4 because I want them to celebrate here. Yeah,
that would be great.
Yep.
You're gonna go 4?
Yeah, I'll just go 4.
Going 4. All right, we'll see what happens. Are you gonna be out there tomorrow?
Are
Thursday?
you kidding?
Yes, sir.
Come on. Can't wait. I'm going to get to be with Abby Eden and Fox 4 in the morning and then coming back in the afternoon and get a pregame tent party with my son and going with some friends.
Heck yeah,
yes,
dude.
let's go. Wednesday and Thursday, baby.
Tomorrow is going to be so nutty. Cannot wait, man. It is going to be unbelievable. And Michael Massey said he just wanted to experience playoff baseball, what it's like at Kauffman.
Here you go.
Here we go. Thank you, Les. Todd Lebo next. Tuesday, Todd.
Victory.
Tuesday. V for victory
Double.
twice.
Twice is
That's
nice.
a W. Two V's is a W for
this
a win.
was just really one of the coolest days in Kansas City sports.
Really, I mean, it was awesome, man.
When the Royals won the World Series in 2015 and the Chiefs won in London, that was cool. But, I mean, one of them was all the way across the globe, and it was 8 in the morning, and it was awesome. But that Chiefs team at that point was off to a bad start, and so there wasn't a whole lot thought of them.
And that morning was just to pass the time while we waited for the game.
How do we get to 7 o'clock tonight?
Exactly. Well, we'll watch the Chiefs in London in the morning, and then figure out some other football throughout the day, and then get to the Royals.
We had a back-to-back also that year with Bears and Chiefs, followed by Houston and the Royals, and they lost both those games. So that was a bad day. Yeah. That was the day Andy Reid's like, I don't think Alex Smith can throw it far enough. So they tried like a 74-yard field goal with Cairo Santos at the end. Didn't go well.
No, didn't.
Dallas Keuchel rolled the Royals.
Yeah. There was the back-to-back in 14, right, of Monday Night Football, then the wild card game.
Those are different days.
But different days, right.
And that next week, that Sunday the next week, the Angels game was a night game. So they wrapped up the series, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs were out at San Francisco. I think they lost that game. Alex Smith returned to the Bay, but no one remembers watching it because nobody cared.
Right.
It was 2014. That was the team that didn't make the playoffs, didn't complete a touchdown to a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But this one last night was like, by the way, the Royals have had 3 parades in the last 5 years. They have the most
Chiefs, you mean?
Chiefs have had.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
The Royals would be surprising if they had 3
They went to the World
parades.
Series twice in a row, but
in the last 5 years.
The Chiefs have done that, and they have the 2-time MVP. They've got Travis Kelce. They've got Andy Reid. They got Chris Jones. Taylor Swift is there. Dennis Quaid is down there for some reason, hanging out with Clark Hunt. I mean, there's all this stuff. Travis Kelce's brother was there. This is a different deal than what we were dealing with in 14 on those back-to-back days. And the Royals have just kind of kept going, and it's the freaking Yankees. That's the little extra pinch of salt that you need for this recipe, man. It was just so awesome last night.
I was wondering, so last Friday we were at Mod Pizza in Lee Summit, and just talking to different people out there about what the atmosphere is going to be like on Monday with Monday Night Football and the Royals there in New York, and if they're up 1-0 or even if they're down, whatever it is. But I'm like, man, I wonder if this team gets rolling in the postseason, would the fever, would it get to a fever pitch? Would it get to where it was in 14 and 15? And what I said was I don't think it's possible to get to that. Because in 14 and 15,
29 years,
the Chiefs hadn't won a playoff game since 93. The 29 years since the Royals had gone.
We're so spoiled
to
now.
the playoffs, and it was just we were looking for something to embrace and live through, and that was an amazing October. And then the next year, having that happen as well, that there is a spoiled element of what we're going through right now with 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, like you're talking about. But I don't think that's going to take away from what tomorrow's going to feel like out at Kauffman Stadium because it's been 9 years. It just happened to be that the whole city sort of got wrapped up in everything Royals and everything playoffs, and specifically solely that was it. And what the Chiefs were doing was so secondary, and what college football was doing was so secondary and third and fourth down the line that it was Royals, 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 then maybe something else, where it's difficult to do that now. But it doesn't mean that individually those games are not going to be incredibly passionate.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. In 14, when they made the playoffs, it was like, open the stores at midnight and go buy shirts.
That's right, yeah.
And, listen, you can go buy shirts, and they're awesome. Go check them out. But back then it was like, oh, my gosh, I don't have a Royals postseason shirt except for my 85 one that I gave to my daughter, vintage, very cool. They redid those, but the real one.
Yeah.
But, so it can't be quite like that. And the city had kind of caught on to Salvi and Moose and Haas and Locane and all that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And Bobby Witt's been here for 3 years now. But, I mean, Listen, Michael Waka just got here. Cole Reagan's been here for a year.
Seth Lugo
just got here. So
Fam
you don't
and
have
Yuli just got here.
that little connection yet.
That was my main point.
Yeah,
Was
they just got here.
like Kane and Esky, and you saw the core grow together for so many years. I think you almost became ingrained in the city. Not saying these guys aren't, and not saying they can't, but it's really Bobby and so it's just different.
Vinny and they've been here for a while.
Yes,
Vinny, Massey, and MJ and Mike.
But even
they
Massey
have a
has
nice core, but they just haven't and it's not their fault.
No,
it's
not
just,
at all.
It's just the city has their attention elsewhere. I was sitting there last night, a little inside at Chiefs. They won last night, Monday Night Football.
Oh.
So we're down there waiting for the rest of the press conferences. Andy went first. That's Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes went. And then Monday night, there's usually lots of people in the interview room. It's not just media. You know, Coach Reid's wife was in there, looked like some grandkids. The Clarks, Clark Hunt, his wife Tavia. I saw his son, saw his daughter. I think her daughter's fiance, boyfriend, whatever. Dennis Quaid and his wife.
Yeah.
And they're
Dennis Quaid is not her fiance, by the way. So
different.
Those were two separate things. There.
Although I think his wife, maybe about that age. I don't know, a lot younger. Not judging.
Her fiance is a former quarterback, right, in the college football?
Yeah, I believe
college
so.
Football quarterback.
So I go in there, and I usually just sit my backpack in like the third row because I want to get far enough back so I can take pictures to send to Bethany for social media. So you got a good, I'm like eye level with the guys. So I put my backpack down there. I go and I set all my stuff up in the Saints room and everything, and I'm going to the locker room, start getting interviews. And Stephen and Paige are rolling around, and they say, "Coach, you got to go. You got to go." So I hot foot out of there, and I go in there, and they've moved my backpack like Clark Hunt's son and set it on the ground. So I had to sit in the front row. Whatever, no big deal. So then Coach gets done. I go back in the locker room, and I see Patrick getting ready. So I'm going to go back in there. Now the kid's gone. My backpack's on the ground, but I'm going to sit in that seat.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the seat right next to Clark, Mr. Hunt, right?
Did you say hi to him?
Yeah, I did. We were just chatting. We're waiting for a while for Kareem, and he was leaning over talking to Dennis Quaid and saying, "I don't know which defensive player they're bringing in." I said, "Well, they're going to just bring Kareem and Juju." That's what they told us. He goes, "Okay." And we were just kind of talking. I said, "Yeah, the Royals won." And
he's like, "Excuse me, sir, I wasn't talking to you."
Did you ask Clark about has he talked to Kareem Hunt yet?
I didn't ask him that, but they were in the room looking at each other. So I just was like, this is really good for the Royals that you guys are off this week. I was just being honest because they take so much of the air out of the room. And the Royals are going to have like 4 days to shine here. They're going to have a little workout today. They're going to have games on Wednesday and Thursday, and there's no Chiefs press conferences. There's no nothing. And I don't think he quite understands. He doesn't live here. Like he knows the Chiefs are a big deal, but the Royals have been in the postseason, and we talk about it here, but still, man, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. It's Rashee Rice's knee.
Yeah.
It's like Taylor Swift.
It's Kelsey
Travis
looking like he's back.
Is he done? Is he, all this stuff. Meanwhile, the Royals are just kind of plugging along, playing ball, doing all those things. And I just think timing worked out really well for them to have this off week right now so the Royals can have a chance to get the full, sun of Kansas City. Because I don't think, even last night I don't think they got it.
So you're saying the NFL is somehow now scripting the Royals and the bye week together? Is this galaxy brain now? It's now scripted into baseball.
Scripted. No, hey, listen. The NFL would just soon them not be off and take away all the light because that's how they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want anybody else.
They said,
light.
"Oh, let's play Patrick Mahomes and C.J. Stroud up against the college football playoff." They don't even care about their feeder system
or
minor league
Christmas
system
against the NBA. The NBA is like, we have one day. This is our day.
Yeah.
No, not anymore. I don't care if it's Wednesday. We're playing.
Right. Yeah. We're not going to hear from the Chiefs we won't hear from Andy until Monday.
Next Monday at noon.
And this divisional series will be over. But, you're going to hear from the Royals. Like, they've got a light workout tonight at 6 o'clock. But before that, Salvi and Quattrero and Seth Lugo are all going to talk today in the interview room.
Listen to the program for that.
That's right. And then tomorrow, you get some post-game stuff.
And some pre also.
The pre stuff.
We don't have
as
the times yet. We'll have some pre. We'll have some post. We'll be out there covering it.
You'll hear from Waka tomorrow, probably getting ready for Thursday's start.
We'll hear from Bobby Witt after the game tonight with the 2 home runs, and tomorrow night it'll be a double home run night and all that.
That's exactly right.
Only 2?
Just 2.
Just
not
two.
getting greedy.
One's off the wall though. Like he's a third off the wall.
Can I settle for 2 hits? Do they have to be home runs? Can I settle for that right now?
Hit.
He is. That's the good and bad part of this, right? It's the good in that they're tied 1-1 coming back to Kansas City.
Nada.
it's the bad in that, he looks lost, and I don't know that just a change of scenery is going to then get him back clicking, although he's been a different beast at home.
The batter's eye.
Maybe that's what it is, but he's certainly, pitch selection, whether it's batter's eye or not, just pitch selection has been bad.
Looked anxious.
Yes.
Like wanting to do something. Looked a little bit like he looked in the first month of the season 2 years ago and last year when he kind of felt.
Yeah.
And he's admitted he kind of felt too much pressure. He looked like he was feeling that there. I hope he relaxes. Now, listen, they don't win against Baltimore without his hits. He's done that.
Two of the three
got them
RBIs.
to the next round.
Yep.
And he shouldn't be asked to do everything for this team. And it's great that they've won two. Probably should have won both on the backs of Garrett Hampson and Tommy Pham.
Well, I was going to say, like, that's what makes it, to me, the good part of that is you got a game in New York where it was Pham and Gurriel and Hampson and Michael Garcia were the guys that came through. You expect that your MVP candidate over the next 3 games might perform to where he gets you a game.
Yeah.
Where he hits a double, a home run, and he gets you a game. And now all of a sudden you got 2, and one of them was because it was the ancillary pieces. It was the surrounding
same thing
pieces.
in New York City about
Agreed
Aaron
with
Judge.
Aaron Judge is kind of the same.
Voices are louder up there about that too,
Yeah, no
man.
kidding.
But also Salvador Perez being the
he's also been worse in bigger spots too. Like
Yeah.
he's had opportunities to drive in and bust open games, and he's not come through.
But the veteran presence of Salvador Perez being there, doing that, and getting the whole rally started with that solo shot, right? Like that has to at least alleviate some pressure. You would think for Bobby.
Well, I think
Salvi
that home run alleviated a little pressure on the whole team last night because then that wasn't like a little one-run rally. They were like, "Oh, let's go."
They got 3 more.
Yeah, and that's not how rallies normally start. You get a home run to lead one off, and then you're like,
there you go. Yeah, you're 3 up, 3 down, or
yeah,
ground
and
balls,
and they just kept going after that. Normally, the old what's the joke? The rally killer, the home run is, or something. But it was. I loved. We were watching this last night on my
how did you?
iPad.
I was going to say, how did you experience it when you were covering the Chiefs game?
So the wedding reception we watched on little TVs with no sound, which was weird.
Yeah, which was fine.
Sorry, guys, that I couldn't do that for you boys.
No sound was a gift to not have to listen to Bob Costas.
I had Steven next to me, my iPad, Pete Sweeney, Paige. We were all right there watching this, and I'm a cheater. I'm looking at my app more, so I can see the scores faster or whatever. It was kind of, and Steven kept telling me, put the damn phone down, watch this thing raw with me. But it was a weird thing. So I still haven't heard anything like commentary. All I've seen is people complaining about Bob Costas. I've heard one word of anything except what I see on Twitter. I've seen a couple highlights.
Do you want to hear Sad Bob?
I did hear this clip. I love this clip.
Let's hear Sad Bob Costas, clip number 9. This is Sad Bob Costas, very distraught last night over his Yankees not coming through in a clutch moment.
Hit to short. Witt gets the force. Can they turn 2? Yes, they can, and it's just the point we were making. It's not Giancarlo's fault.
That's not what Steven sounded like when we watched that.
Couldn't beat it out at the other end. Turns into a double play.
But it was weird to watch the game with no real. Hear that, and then you were on Twitter, so we're looking at all the Royals tweets, Chiefs tweets, watching the Chiefs game live. It was one of the weirder things I've ever done in my life to sit there and watch this thing go down. So it was fun, though. It was so much fun to share it with. That's what sports are kind of about. Listen, I like it if I'm sitting there watching the Sooners game in my basement by myself, but I like it more if I'm enjoying it with my friends. And
Saturday was fun.
You're connected on
cool.
a text string like everyone was last night. I got text strings going everywhere. I'm trying to cover the game. I'm making sure that my dad's not logged out on YouTube TV and everything. So we're doing all that stuff. But that's what this stuff is. It's the shared experience of all of it. And the people in the stands, they knew because the word you heard the "Let's Go Royals" chants. They knew it was going down. And then you heard Patrick say it after the game. He heard it, and then he knew that they had won and all this stuff. So it was just a neat thing to be a part of in a little way. So I really thought it was one of the most fun nights that we've had here in Kansas City for just like that 5 hours right there when all that stuff was going down. It was really cool, and hopefully it's not over because maybe there'll be a day where they overlap again. They may not. Although I was looking ahead. If on the 13th, not the 13th, it'll be the next Saturday, KU plays at Arrowhead against Houston. That's at 2:30. There is an ALCS game that day. Now, if it ends up being Cleveland and the Royals, that game I believe would be in Cleveland. But if Detroit wins, then I think that would shift it back and then I would be like, I don't think y'all can play that at 2:30. You're going to have to probably go
that's
11,
right. Yeah.
and you're going to have to go night and whatever.
That's a good point.
So I think we looked through that and we're like, there could be one where it gets a little weird out there. Now, it wouldn't be a Chiefs game, but we kind of forget that Kansas is playing there on these games, and they set that game for 2:30 yesterday. I don't think they've thought the whole thing through. If it ends up being Detroit finds a way, that would be a weird one if we had that all going out there. Because, Game 7 of the 85 World Series happened on the same day as a home Chiefs game. Different world back then.
Yeah.
The tailgating was, and the Chiefs were awful. So the people got out of there at 3:03, and the other some people went to both, and then everyone else came in and watched the Game 7.
That'd be awesome. If you are a KU fan, and let's just say it's a 2:30 game, right, for KU, and then the game's at like 6:30.
They have to make it 11 and 6:30 because you can't clear the parking lot that fast.
No, but we know how long that college football games go for, right? They're brutal.
No way it'd be
It's got to be a 4-hour game. You just go straight from Arrowhead, and then you go straight over to Kaufman.
It'd be wild.
That'd be electric.
Remember the mess last year, the final game of the regular season last year, where the Yankees were in town here, and they refused to change the game time.
That's right.
And Beyonce had to change her concert tour and have it that night. And they couldn't get the 20,000 people out of the K in time for the Beyonce people to get in. And she had to push her show back like an hour. And they should have just made that game was inconsequential. They should have said, boys, we're playing 11.
Yeah.
But they went, no, we got to have everyone start at 2 o'clock.
Everybody start 2 o'clock.
Stupid Major League Baseball.
So Bob Costas was very sad.
You got more sad, Bob?
Well, there was sad, Bob, but also, it's not Giancarlo Stanton's fault. And so,
Did he slow?
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. We know that it's not his fault.
He's just old.
And Bob Costas wants him to know that it's not Giancarlo Stanton's fault. And, this is it's one of the most famous scenes in movie history with Bob Costas and Giancarlo Stanton talking.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know. No, you don't.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
I know.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Right.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Don't
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Don't with me, all right? Don't with me, not you.
It's not Giancarlo's fault. It's not Giancarlo's fault.
It's just a double play, right?
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's just a double play, Jean.
Bob going to be okay?
I don't know. It's just...
I don't like this.
It's not your fault,
I
Giancarlo.
don't think he's rooting for anything, whatever.
It's not your fault, Giancarlo.
But that really was like someone popped the balloon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was an odd, and they can.
Yeah.
Double play.
It would be
here. That's
great
too bad.
if you could just have one announcer. Like, what if you had like Rex Hudler in, and then you had like you'd Rex do the Chiefs, and you had Bob Costas
in the Final Four. They have the home broadcast they call them the Homer. The Homer broadcast. It's like.
But what if you had both one from each team? So you get Hudler, and I guess it's not John Sterling anymore, but I don't know
whoever they're.
That'd be great though. Just have them both.
Just want ex-players from each team.
Susan Waldman,
David Cohn or
all
something.
the
and
improbable things. Roger Clemens is in George Steinbrenner's box. All the dramatic things.
I don't need that one.
Roger Clemens is in his box, and he's coming back to the Yankees.
I like the idea of having Hudman and like David Cohn or somebody who does the game.
That'd be great, man.
It would be awesome. And
I have great ideas, but no one listens.
So I got home last night, and I had recorded the game, like the Royals games record on my YouTube TV, but it recorded the Spanish broadcast of it. So I got home.
Good for you.
I'm like, this is interesting. So I fast forwarded. I watched a couple of things. I wanted to hear the Salvi.
Salvi home run had to be.
It was pretty good.
Awesome.
It was pretty good. But we were watching the thing with no sound. And the first inning, Rodon, it was just coming through the iPad with no sound. What a jerk this guy was.
Total tool.
So we were not happy with him. And then when he was gone by the fourth inning, we're like,
he didn't even make it through 4.
Looks like he got a little two-sided too early.
Mm. Yeah, somebody had tweeted at me, said the cocaine wore off.
Just like that. He did a bump.
He was on the bump. I think he misunderstood.
He needed a bump.
He misunderstood.
Wrong bump.
Fact or fiction? That's what happened last night for Carlos Rodon. We'll decide next. Robert Saleh.
No.
Why do all my wide receivers? Why aren't they good? Well, because you keep bringing back Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard.
Yeah. All your best buddies are there.
Garrett Wilson's
the ones you complain. Yeah, I know.
He doesn't throw the ball to him accurately.
But the ones he complained about. Why aren't they giving me first-round wide receivers? And then you want all the guys who are not first-round wide receivers
What's
on
Jordy
your
doing, though?
team.
You got to get Jordy back in the mix, though, man. Come on. Yeah. All right, Fact or Fiction. Fact or Fiction. Sterling will give us some questions. We have to answer, surprisingly, if they are fact or fiction.
We'll end up tied.
And
debatable.
Not today. And then we'll see what Sterling thinks of the answer, whether he's right or
it was a bad tiebreaker.
He's wrong, or we're right and he's wrong.
And then the program starts.
That's right. All right, we will start with Todd. We'll start with Todd Lebo today since he's our guest. He's our guest. He's our guest. Put our fact or fiction to the test.
Let's go. Fact.
Lebo, fact or fiction? Lebo had the most to drink at my wedding. I'm kidding. This is not actually one.
It might have been fact.
Out of us, I was gonna say
your
fact.
Philly cousins, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You weren't going head to toe with the
the
6'10"
guy. No,
At our table, that was an easy fact. He
Maybe.
lapped. He
You
ran
lapped
2 laps
Petro?
around us.
We spent the night.
You beat Petro?
You and Petro spent the night?
No, not that you know of. He was doing good. Lynn was driving home.
Okay,
we spent the night though. So
Yeah.
my wife and I did.
Nice.
So we were toe to toe for a while, but I don't know.
You think you edged him out? The tortoise in the hair?
I don't know.
I don't count.
I would say
I saw you on the dance floor. I didn't see Petro on the dance floor.
He
so
didn't
I'm
have a
assuming-
Rumpelman shot with all your friends.
You
did he?
stole it. I go, Dylan, come on, I got a Rumpelman shot for you. Come on, let's have some fun.
Lebo took it.
And Libby goes, oh, I'll take that. And just comes up and rips it with the boys.
Your best man Grant or
Grant.
Grant. Okay, yeah.
Hamburglar.
Todd
he was there. Hamburglar was there.
Todd was on one, and that was my funniest from the weekend when I did that Learn Funniest Best yesterday.
But he was great though. Like it was. I'm glad he was because he was killing the dance floor. He was having fun.
I'm just talking about like when people were giving their speeches.
Yeah.
And then Todd was like, "Let's go, Grant." What'd say, Grant? Best man, Grant. Grant.
Make him feel comfortable.
Yeah,
and
I
then
like that. I appreciate
the
you.
bridesmaid gets up there, and I was like, "Woo, bridesmaid!"
And everyone's like, "What's this? Does he know
Maid
her?"
of honor.
I don't know.
Maid of honor.
We're
Then
here
he
to have fun.
Yeah,
Then
and
he
we
started-
had a great time.
Then he started telling like the chocolate milk story, and Todd was like, "Milk." It's like he was on one.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, Lebo.
Saturday. He was great, dude. All right, fact or fiction? Todd did have the most to drink at our table, but that's not the real question. Let's start.
Fact or fiction? The Royals-Yankees series won't go back to New York. That could be either outcome. So,
Fact. Let's go.
Fact.
I'm saying fact. Let's do it. Let's get it.
fiction. The Royals win in 5. I'm still sticking.
They're going to win 2 games in New York? Let's go. I'll take that,
I'm
too.
still sticking with the Royals win in 5. So that was my.
I'm down.
Got to
I'll
go
take
with it.
I
You
picked the
Royals
Royals
win.
in
It's
4.
fiction. So
I
sorry,
picked the Royals
boys.
in 4. They had to lose one somewhere. They just got out of the way early.
Yep.
Dylan.
Dylan, Mizzou now has no chance of making the college football playoffs after the absolute debacle disaster. I had to explain to my wife that, sorry, they now ruined the wedding. I'm kidding. But the real question is Mizzou now has no chance of making the college football playoffs. Fact or fiction?
I'm going to go fiction because Alabama's loss to Vandy was worse. And I think that, everyone had bad losses this weekend.
I'm going to go fiction as well.
Well, it is fiction, but I think you're going to say fact because if they look this bad on this game, they're going to lose like 3 or 4
I
games.
see what. I think that's probably. But I thought maybe.
But everybody's open for
Yeah.
this still.
Yeah.
So I'll say fact, but it's actually fiction.
Yeah, I went fiction.
Okay. I was right at least.
yeah.
I played both sides.
Yeah, you play both sides. That way you
You
can
were
be
right
wrong.
and wrong.
Yeah.
That was great.
I get no point.
It's a really bad loss. I mean, horrendous. But after seeing, all those other Vanderbilt and almost every team now, not every team, but a lot of teams now have a bad loss.
Tennessee lost.
I think the SEC championship game, it will be a shock to me if there's only 2 conference losses combined with the teams
yeah.
in that game. I think it could be 3 or 4.
I think one team will have 2 conference losses
yeah.
that's playing in the championship.
Well, I mean,
game.
and now Mizzou's win over Vanderbilt looks good.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yep.
See if Vanderbilt wins some other
But
games.
unfortunately,
They
now
have won a couple,
now when they
though,
go
right?
down and beat Bama, it won't be as good of a win.
Yeah,
so
it's-
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but that
That's
did
too
not
bad.
make me enthused. They gave up. They rolled over. Luther Burden had some. Tom Brady would say bad body language on the sideline.
I thought it was odd that they thought they had back-to-back bye weeks, but
Yeah.
that's weird. I'll go first on this
back.
one.
Jason.
UMass. Speaking of Carlos Rodon in a minute, man.
Phillies.
Anyway, go ahead.
The Phillies will win this series over the Mets.
I'm I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? They got that win. They came back. They took that one. I think the Phillies will win the series. Fact.
They needed that one big time.
Mm-hmm.
I think their pitching will hold up, so fact.
Yep, I'll go fact as well.
I have fact.
fact. Yeah,
I like Aaron Nola on the mound, even though it's in New York against Sean Manaea. But I think the Phillies find a way. This is a great series. Both teams can get real hot with the bat. They're very streaky.
It was a really fun game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? That was a fun game.
Yeah, Castellanos with the
watching that while all the football's going on at the same time. Yeah, it was a fun game.
All right, Lebo.
Todd.
This was the most complete Chiefs win of the season.
This season? Sure, I'll say fact.
Yeah, I'll go fact as well.
Fact.
Was a fact. I didn't know if anyone's saying, the red zone struggles or Mahomes not throwing
I didn't
touchdown.
like a missed field goal either. That was a little bit there. But, yeah, I mean, just the offense and defense.
Overall, the offense was moving the ball. The red zone issues are still alarming, but I still think this is the most complete Chiefs victory of the season.
Yeah, they put a lot of yards out there. They were clearly the better team.
Yeah,
for
they
4 quarters.
controlled the game, it felt like.
Yeah.
From the get-go. That
overcome
interception by
man.
Brian Cook was awesome. It was in our corner. You could see that happen. We're like, oh, yeah, you could watch Brian Cook just roam over and and then you saw the one-handed catch, and you couldn't tell at first if he was touched.
He just barely touched
him. It was his
from
foot.
A pick six.
It was his foot that touched the receiver's dome.
It was barely
pretty cool.
touched him. Yeah.
All right, we'll go with Dylan this time. Dylan. Little back and forth on the Border Patrol with this question, but the Chiefs' defense is elite.
What's your definition?
I know.
Of
Right,
elite?
you
can't do it.
You can't do it.
That's my same. I had the same thought. Like, okay, well, elite.
Are we talking like 2000 Ravens?
You
or are we
just
talking
got to
about
answer
top
the
5?
question.
Are we talking all time like elite, or they're elite amongst the group of teams in 2024?
Answer the question.
Oh, okay. So Sterling's just going to be.
Yes.
I'll just
He's going to
go-
be a wallflower.
I'll go no because
It's
of
not yes or
all
no.
time
It's fact
or
or
whatever.
fiction.
But
Come
yeah,
on.
fiction.
Yes or no?
I apologize.
I'll pass.
I'm going to.
Next question.
I'm going to say fiction because I just don't know your definition of elite. So I'm going to say fiction.
I'm saying fact. 2024 elite.
This is 2024 elite. Yeah.
That's a fact. That's
I would have said that, but I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
This Chiefs defense is elite, and I'm counting it by this year. Y'all should have known
This
that.
isn't the 85 Bears, but I mean, this is football in today's world.
No, I think
what they're doing is great.
What I would say if I would have said this Chiefs defense is historically great, that's a different question.
Yeah.
This
I
is.
think they're top 3 to 5 this year.
Yeah,
I
I
really
consider that elite. This
And I
year.
don't care that there's some hurt linemen on the Saints. I mean, they work Kamara over.
Yeah, they take away they make you play left-handed. They take away your best weapon, whether it's Jamar Chase or the run game. They're going to stop you.
Yeah.
Chris Olave was all over the place last night.
Yeah, he was
on the ground.
He was all over the place, not getting the targets. Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, Bijan Robinson, J.K. Dobbins, and Alvin Kamara have
120 yards between them.
170, or 2.6 yards per carry.
Pretty good.
Those 5 running backs against everyone else, they have gained 1,500 yards to the tune of 5.7 yards per carry.
Sure sounds like this Chiefs defense is elite to me.
They're the Joe Flacco of defenses.
That'll work.
I will start with Jason this time. Jason, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. The Jets should have fired Robert Saleh.
That fact, yeah, it's not working. Fact, yeah.
Fiction. Fire the GM.
Fact, they should have done it last year.
Well, that's where it's fiction.
Oh,
if they were going to fire him, you should have done it last year. Don't.
Oh, hang on. What does that get?
Does he get a half point?
I'll give you a half point.
Okay,
I'll give Dylan half point.
He's got 3.5.
But if you're going to stick with him, you're going to fire him a game in London after your quarterback looks like 2 scoops of ass. Yeah, what is happening?
You really got to fire the owner, though. I mean,
Can't do that.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
I mean, I'm just befuddled by this. How are you the scapegoat when Aaron Rodgers?
Was Robert Saleh the guy who brought Aaron Rodgers in?
Yeah, and Robert Saleh is the defensive
that's the GM.
minded head coach to begin with. The defense is still
the
pretty
owner,
solid.
Really. It's the owner that
Problem's Nat
pushed
Hackett.
the whole thing through.
That's the problem.
What about Nathaniel?
That too. He stinks. He's not a good OC, and the problem was him in Denver, and he was a quarterback's coach before Aaron Rodgers basically made him what he is now.
Mm-hmm. So the score is Todd has 4, Dylan has 3.5, and I have 3.
All tied.
Close.
4, 3.5, 3.
I'll start with Leba this time.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels will win Rookie of the Year. Fact or fiction?
I think that's done. Fact.
It's 5 games in.
He's in the MVP race, so yeah, I'll say fact.
Yeah, this feels like C.J. Stroud last year. I'm going to say fact.
Yeah, it is fact.
Yeah. He's been great. Schedule's going to get tougher.
Yeah.
But
I had him. I said he was going to win Rookie of the Year before the season started, by the way.
Good thing Caleb Williams played the Panthers this week because
finally got some yards.
Yeah. Well, he's had some yards. He had 3-something after his first game where he's like 98.
Jaden Daniels has had winning plays.
Yeah.
He's made winning plays.
I also had Jaden Daniels Rookie of the Year.
Sure he did. Smart.
I figured you were raising your hand. I figured I might as well
We're
check, too.
smart guys. Yeah, that's a smart show.
Yeah, we were the only ones that picked Jaden Daniels as Offensive Rookie of the Year. Only ones in the whole world.
A smart show, Jason.
Whole wide world. Dylan will lead us off here.
All right, Dylan. I had more beers than Reagan's had strikeouts yesterday. Fact or fiction?
When?
That's a layup.
Today or yesterday?
You definitely had more. That's a
not
fact.
not the weekend. Yesterday.
At 5?
Fact.
Fact.
You were where they were free?
Only reason
Fact.
it could be fiction is if you had more bourbon.
Yeah, it was an easy fact.
Yes. We all went fact, right?
You were paying for him.
I was paying for him. I was going to put Reagan's and Rodon combined. I was going to say the 12. I only got 12. 12 seems a lot, but it's close.
12 does seem like a lot.
Monday Night Football.
They're light beers, though. I mean, let's be real.
Sure.
No one's ever got drunk off light beers.
Nope, not at all. Nope, it's never happened.
Never.
Nobody in the history of the world could ever drink enough light beers to get drunk. Anyway, I'll go.
I still didn't
I'll
drive,
go-
though, by the way. Fiance drove. She doesn't drink, so.
That's your wife now.
What?
son.
Wife? What?
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Why do you keep
Mark,
saying
my
fiance?
wife.
Put that in the cuts. He didn't know he's married.
My
You've
wife.
been married for 4
Was
days.
this a sham ceremony we watched on Saturday?
I forgot my ring at home, so,
Day
You're already
4?
taking your ring off when you get to work?
I didn't want to sleep in it last night, and I forgot to
No, the
put it on
lady-
this morning.
You don't want the ladies at
Are
the
you
office thinking
even
you're taken
married?
now.
I am married, yes.
You got
Okay.
a certificate for that?
We have it. We
Okay,
had
sure.
it sent in.
Are
We
you
had the.
You sure? Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, Nat.
Yeah, sorry for him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry on
That'd be
behalf
my
of
loss.
him. is
Yeah,
what I'm
that'd be
saying.
my loss.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry for her, and I'm sorry on behalf of him. I'll go
she
first.
can't back
here.
out now. I mean, it's we're good.
No, she absolutely can.
Uh,
I'll go first here.
All right, Jason, Bobby, and Vinny both bust out of their slump in KC. Fact or fiction?
You know, I'm gonna say fiction that they both bust out.
It's all happening. Fact.
Yep, fact.
I went fact because I think Bobby does. I think there is something about the batter's eye in KC that makes him comfy, or something about playing in the confines of Kaufman.
You got to relax.
So
You've
I
been
thi-
away from home for a long time.
Yeah.
They finally got home. These fools been out of town forever.
They have been out of town.
So,
for a while.
and my reasoning is Bobby just has traditionally played better in KC. Vinny has too.
I was
but-
going to
but
say like one or the other ends up breaking out, which will be enough for them to win.
We're just rooting for fun.
I actually think
I like fun.
I do think the stadium of Kaufman actually fits Vinny kind of well, almost like Billy Butler-esque to an extent, where all the gaps, you have a lot of room to have those balls. The singles fall in front of the defenders who play deep on them. I think they
He
both
doesn't seem to
bust
be
out.
chasing crap as much either. He's just. I heard Mike McFarland this morning on the New Day saying he's just real close. He just got to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
He's making real good hard contact,
Well,
pulling it.
And one of the things that we don't take
Hope he's
into
right.
account with the sandbox that they play in New York, that in right field, when the right fielder is playing as shallow as he is, some of those balls that like Tommy Pham's got to chase down at the wall, probably falling at Kauffman Stadium because
That's
you're
my
covering
point.
so much ground. You're not in that spot.
You're
to
not
where I can-
standing back at the
I can
wall.
play shorter because I know how far I got to get to the wall. Well, now I'm playing deeper or different spots. Like there's a lot more space out there.
I say break out of it. Let's go.
Let's go. And also like Juan Soto isn't going to be making those plays in Kaufman. You can put him in right field in Yankee because you don't have to move. It's like left field in
I don't
Houston,
disagree.
right? You don't have to move as much. Good luck in Kaufman. All right, Lebo.
Mm-hmm.
Juju will lead the Chiefs in targets for wide receivers by season's end.
Fact.
Yeah, I think fact.
Yeah, fact.
I went fact, and that's crazy to think about,
Yeah.
right? Like
I mean, he just knows what he's doing. I mean, he looked just like smooth as silk.
besides
last
the
night.
one,
Besides
the one he
drop,
didn't catch,
whatever.
he was 7 for 8,
Yeah.
and that was the one. Was the inter?
And
By
how
the way,
open was he? Goodness gracious, so many times.
Well, someone fell on one of them, that huge
Tyrann
one.
Mathieu fell
yeah,
on
Tyrann
that
Mathieu.
50-yarder.
But wow, yeah, he was getting open at will. It felt like. I love the way he played. Again, outside of that one, it was tough to see from my angle.
How about give him 7 targets and just hand off to Kareem Hunt on
that would have been a good idea.
But Colin Saunders running now, it's funny because
was hilarious.
Seeing him run, and there was a cornerback. It looked like he was trying to lay a block and like get behind me, and Colin Saunders threw his own guy out of the way. Like I'm running. I'm getting this thing.
Go, bro.
I love Colin Saunders, man. Such a good dude. All right, Dylan, we'll start with you.
Dylan, I think Bob Costas isn't quite as bad as folks are making it out to be.
Fiction.
I'm just on principle. Fiction.
It's fiction.
Okay, I was going to say.
Dude has been cheeks, man. Absolute buns.
Yeah, he's been
Bunny Bob.
But
like this guy.
It's not even just the fact that so disappointed that they hit into a double play. Like the broadcast just hasn't been good.
Yeah.
Like it's just not been good. Even last night, Bobby Witt hits the ball down the left field line. We can't see it land because of the wall. And Bob Costas goes, and it lands untouched and goes into the crowd.
What's untouched mean?
Fair or foul. We know it lands untouched because nobody was there, you jackass. And then they showed a replay, and it was like a foot left of the down the line. It was a foot from being fair. We can't see it, and we didn't know until they changed the camera from the crowd to Bobby going back to home plate. Like
we got Bobby Baseball and Bobby Buns. Bobby Buns is Bob Costas because he's buns at announcing.
All right, last one for me.
All right, Jason.
Yep.
Vikings. They will end up with the 1 seed in the NFC. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Schedule's going to switch on them.
Mm-hmm.
Fiction.
Fiction.
Man, it is fiction. I thought I was going to get at least one or two of you with fact.
All right, we're all tied at 9 to 8.5 to 7. What's the tiebreaker?
All right, the bonus.
Just tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
Yep.
Rank how the AFC West teams finish.
Next. All right, so we are tiebreaker for this fact or fiction that ended up 9 to 8.5 to 7. So we definitely need a tiebreaker for this one. And the tiebreaker is rank the order of finish for the AFC West.
Well, it's true because you have 10 points, 7 points, 5 points, and 3 points on the line.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'll just go ahead and go first because to hell with you guys. Kansas City, Denver, L.A., Vegas.
It's exactly what I have.
Oh.
Wait, why are we putting Denver second? I thought they stunk. I thought
Yeah.
their coach and quarterback were bad. But I'll do Kansas City, Denver, Chargers, and Raiders as well.
Oh, cool. So we all picked the same.
So it's a tie.
And you're all wrong.
You got the Raiders first.
You got Chargers and Broncos flipping?
I have Chiefs 1, Chargers 2, Raiders 3.
Raiders are already 0-2 in the
Broncos
division.
will find a way to bleep the bed.
The Raiders are already 0-2 in the division,
It's
and
not
they
just-
pulled Minshew in the middle of the game.
It's not just AFC West standing. It's the entire.
Well, those are
record.
tiebreakers, though.
I get that.
Those are
I
tiebreakers.
understand
Here's
that.
the deal. Here's the deal. Just write this one down. I do want to revisit this one. Got a big
Well, it
game.
doesn't matter because you've won anyway because we all three got the same amount of points.
They
Well, we all
actually
tied then.
get
We actually
deleted
all
after
tied.
every
That's right.
single
because
show.
we all got the same score after we were all tied.
Well, you know, Todd, sometimes when you win, you actually lose. And
That's
sometimes
true.
when you lose, you actually win. And
Wait, did
sometimes
you
when
win
you win
again,
or
Lebo?
lose, you actually tie. Sometimes when you tie, you actually win or lose.
I just won
Tied
because I got to
Lebo.
be here with you guys for an hour.
We should call
That's
you
a
Tide Lebo.
We
You tie a
have
lot.
the Chargers Broncos game this weekend. Separation Sunday.
That's a big one.
In
That's a
this
big one.
particular deal.
I mean, anytime I hear a tiebreaker, you know, I always think of this.
It's like I'm talking to like Sterling.
I mean, it's like unbelievable, people. Unbelievable. It's like I'm talking to Sterling here, you know?
Okay. Clearly, they named their daughter after me. Clearly.
That's exactly right. Yes,
That's
they heard Sterling
obvious,
Holmes and they
yeah.
thought that sounds
cute name for a
really
girl.
really good together.
They did say that.
That it really.
They actually. Patrick told me I should add a "muh" to my last name.
Right.
And then they said, just so you know, we have a daughter named Sterling. And I'm sitting here going,
So they told you that
really?
they named
really?
Sterling
Because
after you.
they're trying to prove a point that, we had no idea you were named that.
Yeah, that's
I
how-
think it's all
I
a
see what you're
cover up.
saying.
Got to be a cover up.
Somebody that didn't want you to know that they named their daughter after you would definitely then say, "We did not name our daughter."
cover up.
That's a great point.
It's only
what somebody
logical.
who didn't want you to think that would say.
Maybe you'd
logical.
be their adopted kid.
Yeah,
A bad life.
I'll do that. Can I
Sign
sign
me
up for
up.
that?
I would hit
Patrick.
up that golf course in his backyard
Patrick.
all the time.
Patrick,
It's only one hole, but
I won't.
Yeah, I'd
I
be
won't
very
fight,
good at that hole.
I won't fight with you on going to the Royals game tomorrow.
I won't do
We're
TikToks.
in.
You know what?
We'll
you know
be-
what?
we'll be totally
I won't
fine.
do TikToks.
just like now.
I will not do TikTok. I don't go to bars anymore.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I still go to bars.
and there's nothing to dis. You can go on vacation all on your own. I'm
just go to the game
totally
for you.
fine with going to the game tomorrow with you, Patrick, as your adopted son. I think it's settled. Great.
Done.
Can't wait to see you guys there. I'm so
Too bad
excited.
your name's not Sterling.
So
I'm
excited.
even more confused. They have
can you
two
call- just
Sterlings.
call-
Which Sterling are you talking to?
Well, you're the cool one.
Probably when he says to go to bed, it's you. Thank
Stop
you, Todd.
talking. It's you.
Thank you, Todd.
All right,
Baseball
boys.
coming up tonight at 8 o'clock. ESPN Kansas City at 4. Arrowhead Pride with Pete Sweeney and Jack Johnson at 6.